Chapter 1152. In the end, all the blade lights gathered together and turned into a huge bolt of lightning that split the heavens and earth. It slashed down on Ling Xiao's body. Ka-cha! The powerful Aries set on his body suddenly shattered. Ling Xiao's body began to spurt blood. His white clothes were dyed red, making him look like a bloody man. What a profound sword technique! It's a pity that your cultivation is too weak. Boundless light gathered and formed demon god King Bo Sun's figure. He glanced at Ling Xiao indifferently and shook his head. Ling Xiao, who was opposite him, looked very miserable. It was as if he had been slashed by a flurry of blades. His entire body was covered in dense blade marks. As for the Aries set, it was completely destroyed. If it wasn't for the protection of the Aries set, Ling Xiao would have been dismembered by that terrifying blade light. Ling Xiao! Jin Sei shouted. Her eyes were filled with worry. Old Goat, Long Outyen, and the other experts from Changsun's sect were also anxious. Demon god King Bo Sun's strength was too terrifying. It was as if there was no way to defeat him. Ling Xiao could only resist in front of him. He didn't have the strength to fight back. There seemed to be a mysterious bolt of lightning lingering in Jin Sei's eyes. It contained an extremely terrifying power. It silently spread out, but no one noticed it. I'm fine. Ling Xiao turned around and gave Jin Sei and the others a smile, indicating for them to be at ease. Rumble. Ling Xiao's qi and blood rose. The engulfing divine seed devoured endless energy. Immediately, the wounds on his body began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. Jin Sei heaved a sigh of relief. The lightning in her eyes also slowly dissipated. That's right. My cultivation is indeed a little weak. This is the second form of heaven cleaving, right? It actually contains the profound meaning and law of speed. Even the primordial spirit can't lock onto it. It's indeed a peerless blade technique. Ling Xiao looked at demon god King Bo Sun calmly and praised softly. His previous state was actually extremely rare. It could even be said to be the legendary heart sword state, where there was no sword in his hand, but there was a sword in his heart. Using his most instinctive strength, he unleashed a wondrous sword intent to block demon god King Bo Sun's second heaven severing strike. Unfortunately, even though Ling Xiao could block the power of the blade light, his cultivation was too weak and his speed was not fast enough. Hence, he could only watch as the blade light broke through the sky-devouring sword's blockade and slashed the Aries armor. The Aries set was such a powerful divine artifact, but it had been destroyed by the attack. Ling Xiao, you can't even withstand the second strike of heaven cleaving. Are you sure you want to continue fighting? Bushuan said indifferently. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes shone brightly as he said, "Come. I really want to see exactly how strong the complete fifth move of Heaven Rend is." Ling Xiao could sense that the first strike of the heaven-slaying technique was power. It was a peerless power that was like an ancient divine mountain that could crush and destroy everything. The second strike of the heaven-slaying technique was speed. It was so fast that even one's primordial spirit could not lock onto it. Hence, Ling Xiao had no way to break through the second strike of the heaven-slaying technique. He could only resist it. This was a true divine martial art. It involved the laws and contained an incomparably terrifying power. It was an eye-opener for Ling Xiao. Although he knew that the next three moves would be even stronger, he still wanted to see the true power of demon god King Bo Sun. Very good. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes flashed as he glanced at Jin Sei in the distance. His heart surged with monstrous killing intent. He could sense that Jin Sei had been hit by his seven souls dispersing soul light, and the wordless heavenly book was currently in Jin Sei's sea of consciousness. If Ling Xiao had the wordless heavenly book in hand, perhaps demon god King Bo Sun would still be wary of Ling Xiao. However, now was the best time to kill Ling Xiao. Rumble. Demon god King Bo Sun's body surged with demonic light as he stood above the nine heavens. The surrounding chaotic mist gushed out, forming a huge vortex behind him. Heaven-slaying technique third strike, wind rises. Demon god King Bo Sun's ancient voice resounded in the void. Boom! Immediately, the wind and clouds above the 9 heavens moved. Vast astral winds swept in all directions, containing an incomparably sharp energy fluctuation. From the black vortex behind demon god King Bo Sun, a blazing saber light instantly fused with the astral winds, transforming into a huge green saber light that slashed down towards Ling Xiao. The speed of the saber light was not fast. It was even somewhat slow. However, it contained an unavoidable power that completely locked onto Ling Xiao. The saber light flowed, shattering the void in all directions. However, this was only the beginning. Heaven-slaying technique fourth strike, cloud movement. Demon god King Bo Sun's voice resounded once more. This time, the clouds in the sky tumbled, as if forming a vast sea of clouds. The sea of clouds rose above the 9th heaven and transformed into a white astral saber. Then, a cyan astral saber fell towards Ling Tian. The saber light was vast, containing an unfathomable concept that made people unable to grasp it. In a trance, it was as if the entire sky was filled with a sea of clouds and saber light. Heaven-severing fifth form, heavenly lightning. Demon god King Bo Sun's voice resounded for the third time. Rumble. Lightning flashed above the 9 heavens. Black lightning interweaved, containing an endless destructive power. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed as it descended. Bolts of black lightning were like black lightning dragons. They were incomparably thick as they interweaved around demon god King Bo Sun's body, making him look mysterious and unfathomable, just like a thunder god king. Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he chopped down with his palm. Immediately, the black lightning interweaved and transformed into a black saber light that slashed towards Ling Xiao. No one expected demon god King Bo Sun to directly display the power of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th forms of heaven severing. Wind rises, clouds move, heavenly lightning. Green, white, and black saber auras descended, shrouding the entire sky. They completely locked onto Ling Xiao, intending to completely annihilate him. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed an incomparably solemn expression. Just as demon god King Bo Sun displayed the 3rd form of heaven severing, he felt a fatal danger. Rumble. Dragon might filled his body as golden blood rose. He pushed his divine dragon body to the extreme. At the same time, his devouring divine sea enveloped the entire area, containing the power to devour everything. Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably sharp as his aura rose to the extreme. He held up the sky with both hands and formed the invincible fist seal. Then, he suddenly threw 3 punches into the void above. The first punch contained boundless dragon might. Ling Xiao burned his divine dragon blood and 81 rainbow-colored divine dragons traversed the sky, causing this punch to contain an invincible power. The second punch contained the power of the god of war that flowed throughout Ling Xiao's body. Wisps of purple gold mist condensed into a huge purple gold divine fist that soared into the sky. On the third punch, Ling Xiao's blood, qi, and divine power seemed to have gushed out. Blood mist spread out from the pores all over his body, turning into the shadows of the 4 divine beasts, faintly revolving around a mysterious celestial emperor. A peerless fist aura erupted. Chapter 1153. Although the menstrual cycle and fate-reversing technique were powerful, they were unable to resolve the crisis before him. Furthermore, if he were to forcefully use these 2 divine arts, it was hard to say whether demon god King Bo Sun would be killed or not. Ling Xiao himself would very likely suffer the backlash of the power of time and the power of fate once again. Therefore, Ling Xiao chose to use the myriad dragons god-slaying technique, god of war fist, and 4 elephants heaven-striking style to contend against Bo Sun's heaven-severing 3 styles. These 3 fists could be said to have fused with all of Ling Xiao's vitality and divine power. The vitality around him soared, and the golden light illuminated the entire sky. The 3 huge fist imprints met the 3 blade imprints, surging violently with an extremely powerful aura. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but hold their breaths, and their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Demon God King Bo Sun's heaven-severing 3 styles was too terrifying. When the 3 terrifying blade imprints fell, it was as if they were going to cut the entire war god's world into pieces. Everyone had an illusion that this was an invincible blade technique, invincible in the world, and no one could contend against it. Even Ling Xiao couldn't. To be able to force Royal Father to use the heaven-severing 3 styles, Ling Xiao, you're dead meat. Young Master Xie's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he sneered. How could he not know the terror of the heaven-severing 5 styles? In the battle a million years ago, many heavenly gods and even godly kings fell under the heaven-severing 5 styles. Once the heaven-severing 5 styles was used, even ghosts and gods would flee. Ling Xiao, you must block it. The old goat's eyes were filled with incomparable nervousness and anxiety. He couldn't interfere in a battle of this level, and could only pray that Ling Xiao could defeat Demon God King Bo Sun. In Jin Sei's eyes, the light flickered, and the lightning was incomparably sharp. The divine sky-mend butterfly slowly revolved around her, emitting a strange fluctuation that made her seem like she was floating, as if she could turn into a butterfly and fly away at any time. Rumble! A terrifying explosion rang out from the void. The 81 rainbow-colored dragons collided with the green saber aura. The dragon might roared and the fist intent was incomparably powerful. However, the saber aura seemed to contain the power to destroy everything. The 81 rainbow-colored dragons were actually destroyed by the green saber aura. At the same time, the white and black blades trembled slightly and merged with the green blades. They contained a destructive force that broke through the Thousand Dragons god-slaying technique and destroyed Ling Xiao's King of War fist. Finally, they collided violently with the 4 elephants sky-striking style. Rumble! The phantoms of the 4 divine beasts shrouded the sky and the earth, containing an extremely mysterious power. They formed a perfect balance and began to enter a stalemate with the saber aura in the void. However, Ling Xiao's face instantly turned extremely pale. He could feel that the power contained in the saber was too terrifying. Although the 4 elephants sky-striking style contained the 4 elephants origin energy, his cultivation was still too weak. Crack! The 4 divine beasts were smashed to pieces in an instant. The terrifying saber sliced through the void and slashed towards Ling Xiao. Boom! That saber slashed directly onto Ling Xiao's chest, as if it was going to split Ling Xiao apart. Ling Xiao spat out a mouthful of blood as if he had been struck by lightning. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper as he was sent flying. At this moment, whether it was the devouring divine sea or the divine dragon body, there was no way for Ling Xiao to block the saber. He was instantly severely injured. You didn't die. I didn't expect you to have such a precious treasure on you. Demon God King Bo Sun's eyes shone brightly. He was a little surprised. The saber aura just now had almost completely destroyed the sky. Even Ling Xiao's 3 peerless divine techniques were instantly torn apart like paper. Demon God King Bo Sun originally thought that even Ling Xiao would be completely killed by the saber aura. However, there seemed to be some kind of treasure in Ling Xiao's chest that blocked the fatal blow for him. The unparalleled divine power contained in the saber aura was transmitted into Ling Xiao's body, causing him to be severely injured in an instant. The heaven-slaying style is indeed worthy of its reputation. Ling Xiao stood in the void, his body trembling slightly. His mouth was full of blood and his face was as pale as paper. However, his eyes were incomparably bright. Rumble! The devouring divine sea absorbed the boundless essence of heaven and earth to continuously heal Ling Xiao. However, his injuries this time were too severe and there was no way for him to recover in a short period of time. Ling Xiao could feel that the last 3 styles combined had the power to kill him. If he didn't use the Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablet to block it at the last moment, he would have been killed. The Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablet was a supreme treasure. Originally, with Ling Xiao's cultivation, it was impossible for him to refine it. However, with the help of the wordless heavenly book, he was able to slightly use a trace of the Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablet's power to block Demon God King Bo Sun's killing blow. When the saber aura landed on the Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablet, it didn't even leave a mark. Ling Xiao couldn't help but sigh at the strength of the Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablet. However, Ling Xiao had already concealed the aura of the Heaven Dao Primal Chaos Tablet. Even Demon God King Bo Sun couldn't see what kind of treasure was in Ling Xiao's body. Even if you have a precious treasure protecting your body, in front of absolute strength, it's all in vain. Ling Xiao, die. Demon God King Bo Sun seemed to be too lazy to continue speaking to Ling Xiao. Killing intent flashed in his eyes as he slammed his palm down on Ling Xiao. Rumble. A terrifying aura exploded. Demon God King Bo Sun's body shone with demonic light as he unleashed all of his strength. His palm was earth-shattering as he wanted to kill Ling Xiao. Not good. Demon God King Bo Sun's great transformation's demon body actually has the strength of a true god realm. Master is in danger. Zhu Gonglia's expression changed. This time, he could clearly feel that Demon God King Bo Sun's strength had reached the true god realm. He was a realm higher than Ling Xiao. His strength was terrifying. In front of absolute strength, no matter how strong Ling Xiao's talent was, he was still very insignificant. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he activated the strength of his body. Engulfing Heaven God Sea swept through the void as Ling Xiao punched towards Demon God King Bo Sun. Rumble! Heaven and earth shook violently as Ling Xiao and Demon God King Bo Sun started an intense battle. Ling Xiao used Engulfing Heaven God Sea to continuously devour Demon God King Bo Sun's attacks. At the same time, he used his terrifying physical strength to attack Demon God King Bo Sun. However, Demon God King Bo Sun's strength was too terrifying. Ling Xiao instantly fell into a disadvantage and was in imminent danger. Puff! He was hit by Demon God King Bo Sun's palm and immediately coughed up blood as he was sent flying. Kill! Ling Xiao fought until he went berserk. His eyes were filled with killing intent as his aura surged. After being sent flying by Demon God King Bo Sun, he jumped up again and charged towards Demon God King Bo Sun. Chapter 1154. The eyes of everyone from Changsun's sect were filled with anxiety and worry. However, they could not interfere in a battle as such. Moon Goddess and Phoenix Maiden's eyes turned red as they trembled. They couldn't wait to charge forward. The lightning in Jean Sei's eyes burned even more fiercely as a terrifying divine light was about to burst out. Wang! Suddenly, Demon God King Bo Sun's eyes were filled with black light as if a vortex had appeared. Suddenly, a black ray shot out. It contained the power to freeze everything and was extremely fast as it flew towards Ling Xiao. Just as Ling Xiao felt a sense of danger, that ray of light landed on his body. Boom! A mysterious force instantly poured into his body and exploded with a bang. It was as if he had been petrified, and his entire body was sealed in ice. That black ray seemed to contain some kind of power of law. Ling Xiao's body was sealed by countless lines of law, making him unable to move. Demon God King Bo Sun's eyes flashed with killing intent as he pointed at Ling Xiao's forehead. That finger was like a sword with unparalleled sharpness. Ling Xiao saw the cold killing intent in Demon God King Bo Sun's eyes. He wanted to destroy him completely. Ling Xiao didn't even think as he prepared to trigger the power of the divine tribulation. Whoosh! At this moment, a snow-white ray of light lit up in the dark sky, illuminating the world in all directions. It was dazzling and majestic like a blazing galaxy. That was a sword ray. It was vast, grand, ancient and sharp. Everything in the world seemed to be enveloped by this sword ray. That sword ray slashed down at Demon God King Bo Sun. Who is it? Demon God King Bo Sun's expression changed. He could feel the killing intent hidden in that sword, which made him feel threatened. Immediately, he changed the direction of his finger, which was pointing at soaring firmament, and abruptly landed on that resplendent sword light. Rumble! The terrifying sword ray exploded and swept across the sky. Amidst the dazzling divine light, a middle-aged man in a black robe with a heroic bearing strode over. The sword wool around him rose and circled around him as if it was real. His face looked very ordinary, but his eyes were extremely deep and sharp. They were like two peerless divine swords that had been unsheathed. His killing intent was so strong that no one dared to look him in the eye. He was like an emperor of swords. As soon as he appeared in this world, all the experts who used swords felt their swords buzzing and trembling. Then, as if they were out of their control, they instantly flew out and bowed to the middle-aged man. Myriad swords greeting sect, one sword leaving dust. The appearance of this middle-aged man in a black robe shocked everyone. Whoosh! The black-robed middle-aged man appeared in front of Ling Xiao in the next moment. He pointed his finger, and it was as if a beam of sword chi was shot towards Ling Xiao. It was incomparably sharp, and it instantly broke the restrictive force on his body. Thank you for your help. Who are you? Ling Xiao curiously glanced at the black-robed middle-aged man in front of him. That sword intent was somewhat familiar, but he had never seen this person before. Ling Xiao, do you still remember me? The middle-aged man in a black robe smiled at Ling Xiao as an old voice sounded from his mouth. Ling Xiao was shocked. His eyes were filled with disbelief and surprise. You are the longevity grass. How could Ling Xiao not recognize the voice of the middle-aged man in a black robe? It was the voice of the longevity grass. But when did the longevity grass become so strong? What a strong sword intent. Who are you? Demon God King Bo Sun's eyes were filled with seriousness as he looked at the middle-aged man in a black robe. Although he felt that the middle-aged man in a black robe was not strong and had not reached the true God realm, the strong sword intent made him feel slightly shocked. You can call me Duga Chobai. The middle-aged man in a black robe smiled faintly as his eyes shone with a sharp light. Just as he finished speaking, not only was Demon God King Bo Sun shocked, even Ling Xiao was shocked. He is Duga Chobai. The longevity grass is Duga Chobai. Everyone from the Changsun sect let out a look of disbelief as well. Since when had the longevity grass turned into Duga Chobai? Duga Chobai saw the shock in Ling Xiao's eyes and said calmly, now is not the time to explain. Today, I will help you subdue this demon. Looking at Demon God King Bo Sun before him, Duga Chobai's eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit. Duga Chobai. What an arrogant name. You humans are just a bunch of frogs in a well. Since you want to be defeated, I will fulfill your wish today. Demon God King Bo Sun's eyes flashed with killing intent as he sneered. Although Duga Chobai's sword intent was extremely pure and vast, even stronger than the sword intent of many divine king experts that Demon God King Bo Sun had seen, Duga Chobai's cultivation was only at the divine spirit realm. Therefore, Demon God King Bo Sun did not take him seriously. It will be my honor if you can defeat me. Duga Chobai smiled faintly. The longevity grass is the strongest man in the world, Duga Chobai, from hundreds of thousands of years ago? Isn't this too surreal? Am I dreaming? Long Aotian's eyes widened as they were filled with disbelief and shock. Long Lai, Fire Phoenix Supreme, Moon God, Phoenix Lady, Mu Lin Feng, and the others had all heard about Duga Chobai. He could be said to be the most dazzling figure in the past million years. His legends were everywhere. The three supreme sword techniques of the war god continent were passed down by Duga Chobai. However, not only did Duga Chobai not die, he even turned into a divine herb. This was unbelievable. Using a divine herb to nourish his primordial spirit? I never thought that there would be such a genius in the mortal realm. Zhu Gonglie's eyes flashed as he thought of something. He could not help but exclaim. Senior, Demon God King Bo Sun's cultivation has reached the true God realm. Moreover, he has many supreme demonic techniques. His strength is unfathomable. Ling Xiao did not have the time to be shocked by Duga Chobai's identity as he said to Duga Chobai. If that's the case, then I am really lucky. Ling Xiao, how about letting me fight Demon God King Bo Sun? Duga Chobai smiled faintly as his eyes were filled with confidence. All right. Senior, be careful. Although Ling Xiao was a little worried, he could feel that Duga Chobai's strength was extremely strong. he might be able to fight demon god King Bo Sun. Therefore, he agreed after thinking about it. However, Ling Xiao also decided that if Dugu Qiubai was in danger, he would attack demon god King Bo Sun together with Dugu Qiubai. You are courting death. Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes flashed with killing intent. The demonic gods around him rose as he slammed his palm down on Dugu Qiubai. He never thought that Dugu Qiubai would want to fight him alone. This immediately triggered his killing intent. Therefore, he attacked with lightning speed. Chapter 1155. Rumble. Demon god King Bo Sun's demonic aura rose as a majestic aura shrouded the heavens and earth. He slammed his palm down at Dugu Qiubai, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently as if the boundless world was about to collapse. Chaotic heavenly demon art, heavenly demon extermination. Demon god King Bo Sun's face was calm as a ray of light that could split the heavens and earth flashed in his eyes. In an instant, a huge palm print swept across the sky as if it was a vast continent that was about to turn everything into dust. Ha ha ha. Chaotic heavenly demon art is the supreme technique that Lord Demon Saint imparted to my father. It contains 3 ultimate techniques. Back then, Scarlet Dragon War God was severely injured by my father using this technique. This bullshit Dugu Qiubai is definitely going to die. Young Master Xia let out a hearty laugh. His eyes were filled with an incomparably sinister look. However, he was still a little shocked. The chaotic heavenly demon art was one of demon god King Bo Sun's most powerful demonic techniques. He had never thought that a mere Dugu Qiubai could force Scarlet Dragon War God to use it. The power of this palm strike was extremely terrifying. It was not much weaker than the heaven-severing fifth style. It even contained an eternal demonic intent. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of cold sharpness. Dugu Qiubai stood on the mountain in the sky with a calm expression. His eyes were as deep as the sea, as if they contained a vast world. Buzz! The ancient sword in his palm trembled slightly as strands of black sword energy spread out. The sword light looked extremely gorgeous as it gently pierced towards demon god King Bo Sun's palm strike. However, it emitted an aura that made one's heart palpitate. The black sword energy seemed to contain endless destructive power, giving the sword a sense of immortality. Rumble. An earth-shattering aura erupted, and endless divine light gushed out. It was incomparably boundless. However, everyone could see that within the boundless demonic light, a dazzling sword light cut through everything and stabbed towards demon god King Bo Sun. This is Destruction Sword Dao. How could a mere human from the mortal world comprehend such a supreme sword Dao? How is this possible? Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes revealed shock for the first time as his voice trembled. Puff! A black blood light flashed as Dugu Qiubai's sword pierced through demon god King Bo Sun's palm and chopped off one of his arms. Boom! Demon god King Bo Sun was sent flying as his eyes revealed an extremely solemn expression. Even the battle with Ling Xiao had been very casual, as if everything was under his control. However, facing Dugu Qiubai now made him feel a sense of crisis. Dugu Qiubai stood in the void in his black robe. Sword intent rose around him. Although his face was slightly pale, his eyes became brighter and brighter. Destruction Sword Dao. He's merely at the divine spirit realm, yet he's actually already comprehended the foundation of the Saint Dao. This person is truly a genius gifted by the heavens. Zhu Gonglia's body was also shaking. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Destruction Sword Dao. Is there anything powerful about it? Long Outyan asked curiously as he approached Lin Fan. You don't. Divine realm cultivators comprehend the law of heaven and earth and constantly perfect the small world in their body. However, it's still the application of the law of heaven and earth. When one comprehends the law of heaven and earth to the extreme, he will be able to walk on his own path to the divine path. Destruction Sword Dao is the foundation of the divine path. As long as he enters the divine realm, he will be able to become a divine saint within 100 years. Zhu Ganglai shook his head and said. His eyes were filled with shock. Even in the divine realm, such a person would be a peerless genius. He was a rare martial arts genius. Zhu Ganglai did not expect to see such a person in the mortal world. Although Duge Qiubai had just comprehended the destruction sword Dao and was only at the entry level, his strength had already surpassed ordinary divine realm cultivators. That was why he could easily defeat demon god King Bo Sun's chaotic heavenly demon art. Duge Qiubai is so powerful. Doesn't that mean demon god King Bo Sun is dead meat? Long Outyan's eyes were wide open. His eyes were filled with joy. It's not that easy. In this mortal world, there's no way to support the power of the Saint Dao. Duge Qiubai probably can't use that sword for more than a few times. If he can't kill Demon King Bo Sun, he'll be the one to die. Zhu Ganglai said as he shook his head. Although Duge Qiubai looked elegant, his face was pale. That move had consumed a large amount of his primordial spirit, blood essence, and even his lifespan. After all, although he had comprehended the destruction sword Dao, his cultivation was still too weak. Very good. To be able to comprehend the destruction sword Dao at the divine spirit realm, your talent is the best I've ever seen. Duge Qiubai, you are worthy of this name. But how many swordsmanship can you use like that just now? Demon god King Bo Sun sneered, but his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Such a person must not be allowed to live. In time, he would be another Scarlet Dragon God of War, or even surpass him. After all, Scarlet Dragon God of War had only comprehended the foundation of the divine path when he was in the Divine King realm. How could he compare with Duge Qiubai? If Duge Qiubai grew up, he would definitely be a great enemy of the devil world. It was not impossible for such a person to become an emperor in the future. Demon god King Bo Sun could not help but tremble at the thought of the invincible great emperor's aura that could suppress the heavens. You're right. I will only use 3 moves. If I can't kill you in 3 moves, then I'll admit defeat. Duge Qiubai said calmly with a faint smile. Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with shock. He could vaguely see the figure of the Sword Emperor during the divine tribulation in Duge Qiubai's move. It was vast and unparalleled, as if it had the power to split the heavens and earth. In Ling Zhao's opinion, Duge Qiubai's strength was only slightly stronger than his. However, Duge Qiubai's realm was much higher than his. Was this the strength of the strongest person in the world hundreds of thousands of years ago? It was indeed terrifying. 3 moves. You are indeed arrogant. Then take another move of my chaotic heavenly demon art, myriad heavenly demon. Demon god King Bo Sun sneered, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Although Duge Qiubai's cultivation was not as high as his previous move had won his respect. Moreover, he had his own pride. The chaotic heavenly demon art was passed down by the demon saint, so how could it be so simple? Rumble. Demon god King Bo Sun threw a punch at Duge Qiubai. Chapter 1156. Boundless demonic light sword, and a vast world seemed to appear above demon god King Bo Sun's fist. Countless demon race experts roared, ran, and even knelt on the ground to worship. It was as if the legendary demon realm had descended from the endless space-time. Everyone had the same thought, as if the demon realm was going to rule the myriad worlds and become the only eternal existence in this world. This was the power of the myriad worlds' heavenly demon. Under this fist, everyone's mind seemed to have been taken away, and they couldn't help but kneel down. This fist also contained the intent and power of the Saint Dao. Wang! But at this moment, a snow-white sword light soared. The boundless darkness was illuminated. This sword seemed to be the first ray of light at the beginning of the world. It separated the endless chaos, evolved the myriad worlds, and evolved the countless living beings. This was the sword of life, which gave life to the world. Everyone who saw this sword would think of beautiful words like beauty, life, prosperity, and so on in their hearts. This was the sword of life. Duge Qiubai's face was emotionless. He emitted a mysterious aura, as if he had completely merged with the world. That sword easily tore through the boundless darkness, and finally clashed with the terrifying demonic light. Rumble. The sky seemed to have collapsed, and the demon Tao world collapsed rapidly. Boundless divine light storms swept out in all directions, but they were completely drowned by the resplendent sword energy. Duga Chobai and demon god King Bo Sun's figures flew back at the same time, and stood in the endless void. The ancient sword in Duga Chobai's hand trembled slightly, and let out a clear sword hum. Both of demon god King Bo Sun's arms were completely shattered. Boundless demonic light sword, and two new arms were formed. At the same time, it illuminated his extremely solemn face. Life Sword Tao. You actually comprehended two sword Taos of destruction and life at the same time? How is this possible? Demon god King Bo Sun was completely shaken, and his face was filled with undisguised shock. Destruction and life were two completely different types of power. They could be said to be mutually reinforcing and opposing. Demon god King Bo Sun had also seen a peerless expert who had comprehended the destruction sword Tao. That person had already become an invincible sword saint. However, demon god King Bo Sun had never thought that a person could comprehend two saint Taos at the same time. However, the divine path was like a path. One could only walk one path. How could one walk two paths at the same time? The extremity of death is life, and the extremity of life is death. Destruction and life have always been one, so how could they be considered two different sword Taos? Duga Chobai said faintly with a deep look in his eyes. His eyes also seemed to have undergone some strange changes. One of his eyes was filled with destruction and slaughter, while the other was filled with light and vitality. The two strange forces formed a perfect balance in his body. Isn't this too frightening? Who was this Duga Chobai? Could he be the reincarnation of a saint? The destruction sword Tao is already terrifying enough, but he actually managed to comprehend the life sword Tao at the same time. If this were to happen in the divine world, I'm afraid countless holy lands would fight over it. They might even start a war. Zhu Gonglie's eyes widened, and his voice trembled. Duga Chobai, it really is Duga Chobai. Even demon god King Bo Sun couldn't defeat him. This guy is just too crazy. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the others were shocked. At the same time, they thought of the legendary Duga Chobai. It was simply a legend, a miracle. When the Duga Chobai in front of them and the legendary Duga Chobai merged into one, there was an additional sense of mystery. Ling Xiao looked at Duga Chobai. The concept of the intertwining of destruction and life from Duga Chobai seemed to have touched him. In Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, his primordial spirit was trembling slightly. A similar concept was about to condense. He felt that his primordial spirit was finally complete. As long as he wanted to, he could become a god with his mental strength at any time. You're just an ant from the mortal world. How dare you talk about the heavenly Tao? So what if you've comprehended the destruction and life sword Taos? You're still going to die today. No one can save you. The killing intent in demon god King Bo Sun's eyes was not concealed at all. He was completely shaken. There was even a trace of fear and dread in his heart. Such a peerless genius should not appear in the mortal world. He should not appear in the human race. He should not even appear here. Therefore, he must die. So what if you're from the mortal world? So what if you're from the human race? There's no difference between life and death. It's funny that you don't understand this despite your great strength. Now, take my third sword. Duga Chobai smiled faintly. His face became paler and paler. Even his black hair was turning white. However, his body became straighter and straighter. He was like a divine sword that pierced through the heavens. As soon as he finished speaking, the third sword pierced towards demon god King Bo Sun. Wang! The void trembled slightly as circular ripples appeared. Chaotic chi surged. It was as if a small world was born and then shattered in an instant. In this strange tremor, an eternal sword light intertwined with the two mysterious concepts of destruction and life shot towards demon god King Bo Sun. Duga Chobai seemed to have forgotten everything. He had forgotten this world, the surrounding space-time, and everything else. He was neither sad nor happy. His heart was as calm as still water as he slowly thrust out his sword. Demon God King Bo Sun's expression changed drastically. He could feel the two terrifying sword intents of destruction and life fusing into one from this sword. Most importantly, he could feel a fatal killing intent. Chaotic heavenly demon art, eternal demonic Tao. Demon God King Bo Sun did not hesitate. He pushed out both his palms and roared. Rumble. Black lightning exploded in the void. Demon God King Bo Sun seemed to be surrounded by millions of demon gods. They all knelt down and worshipped him as if he was the only true demon in the world. When he pushed out both his palms, endless demonic chi surged and intertwined into a mysterious rune. It contained an eternal aura. He wanted to block Dugachobai's sword and use the power of eternal demonic Tao to kill Dugachobai. This was the most terrifying move of the chaotic heavenly demon art. It was rumored that when cultivated to the extreme, it could even kill a saint. Rumble. Two kinds of terrifying power instantly exploded in the nine heavens. The endless void was destroyed and even the silhouettes of mysterious small worlds appeared one after another. Then, they all exploded at the same time, turning into a vast black hole. Vaguely, one could see countless mysterious worlds emerging from it. This was creation's end. It was a mysterious phenomenon that appeared when supreme experts fought against each other. Legend had it that during the ancient times, when countless demon gods and saints fought, a single strike could destroy an endless world. It turned into an eternal black hole that devoured everything. The sword light seemed to have quieted down after entering the endless darkness. In the next moment, Dugachobai's body trembled. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. His long hair fluttered and turned white at a speed visible to the naked eye. Boom! He was sent flying back as if he had suffered a heavy blow. What? Everyone turned pale with fright, their eyes filled with disbelief. Chapter 1157. Dugachobai's white hair fluttered in the wind, and his face was as pale as a sheet of paper. He was thrown out of the vast divine light storm. He stood in the void and staggered, as if he was about to fall from the nine heavens. Everyone's body trembled, and their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Their hearts could not help but sink. Dugachobai had suffered such a heavy injury. Was he really going to lose? Father's demonic Tao is eternal prosperity. When cultivated to the extreme, he can kill a saint. A mere human ant. So what if he has comprehended the supreme sword Tao? He will still die in Father's hands, young Master Xie sneered, and his eyes were filled with jealousy as he looked at Dugachobai. However, before he could finish his sentence, his expression changed. Rumble. In the divine light storm that was as deep as the sea and shrouded in darkness, a dazzling sword ray floated up and down. It instantly illuminated Demon God King Bo Sun's figure. Demon God King Bo Sun's eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. That sword had already pierced through the darkness and slashed down at him. Demon God King Bo Sun's body trembled, and spiderweb-like cracks appeared on his body. Boundless demonic light gushed out, and then he exploded. Although Dugachobai had suffered heavy injuries, Demon God King Bo Sun had been killed by Dugachobai's sword. Dugachobai's cultivation is still too weak. Otherwise, he wouldn't have suffered the backlash of the Saint Tao. The power of that sword is too terrifying. Fortunately, he still won. Zhu Ganglai sighed softly. He knew that Demon God King Bo Sun wasn't the one who injured Dugachobai. The reason why he looked like he was severely injured was because his cultivation was too weak. He forcefully used the power of the Saint Tao and suffered a great backlash. What? That's impossible. Young Master Xia was completely dumbfounded. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets, and his face was filled with disbelief. Just a moment ago, he thought that Dugachobai was severely injured and was about to die at the hands of Demon God King Bo Sun. But suddenly, Demon God King Bo Sun was killed by Dugachobai. The contrast was too great. He felt like he was in a dream. He mumbled to himself as he stood there in a daze. A moment later, he suddenly shuddered. With demon god King Bo Sun dead, could he still survive? Young Master Xie's heart sank as he looked at the vengeful and murderous gazes around him. Ha ha ha. We won. Senior Dugu is too powerful. Long Out Yen and the others jumped up and down excitedly. Their faces were red, and their eyes were filled with excitement and excitement. Bo Sun Demon God King was too terrifying. Ling Xiao had suffered heavy injuries in his hands, and some people had even begun to despair. Who would have thought that Dugu Qiubai would kill him in the blink of an eye? When Dugu Qiubai and Demon God King Bo Sun were fighting, many experts from the Holy Lands came to the Heavenly Devil Ancient Land to kill the demon race. They also saw the battle between Dugu Qiubai and Bo Sun, and their eyes were filled with excitement. At this moment, their fighting spirit soared. After a short moment of excitement, they instantly charged towards the devil race experts. Wang! Dugu Qiubai's body glowed brightly. Streams of divine energy circled around him and poured into his body. His aura began to calm down. Senior is mighty. Demon God King Bo Sun has died in your hands. Ling Xiao was relieved when he saw Dugu Qiubai's aura gradually calming down. He smiled at Dugu Qiubai and said, "He's not dead." Dugu Qiubai's words startled Ling Xiao. What? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had clearly sensed that Demon God King Bo Sun's all transformations demon body had been destroyed. What I just killed was only one of Bo Sun's doppelgangers. I can feel that his real body is in the blood sea, so he's not dead. However, his real body is extremely terrifying. Even I might not be his match. Dugu Qiubai said slowly. Rumble. As soon as Dugu Qiubai finished his words, the blood sea below began to boil. Streaks of blood-red light turned into blood-red chains. They traversed the void and wrapped around the experts of the human race. Powerful demon gods seemed to be born from the terrifying blood-red light. Each of them was filled with murderous intent as they charged at the experts of the human race. Ling Xiao's expression changed. He could feel that there was an unfathomable and terrifying aura in the blood sea below that was about to awaken. Not good. Ling Xiao, Bo Sun's real body is about to awaken. The blood sea should be formed by his divine energy. He wants to devour the experts of the human race to recover his strength. Go and destroy that blood sea. Dugu Qiubai's expression changed as he pointed at the blood sea below. Is he finally going to awaken? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had a vague guess that if Bo Sun's real body was in the Heavenly Devil Ancient Land, it was very likely to be in the blood sea. The great transformations demon body that Dugu Qiubai had just killed should be Bo Sun's strongest doppelganger. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with cold battle intent as he thought about how he was going to face Bo Sun's real body. Whoosh! His figure soared into the sky and punched the endless sea of blood below. Suddenly, the world trembled violently. The terrifying fist broke the blood-colored chains one by one. Kill! The old goat, Daoist Wuliang, and the others also felt the blood sea's strange movements. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent as they charged at the demon gods and the blood demons formed by the blood sea. Many of the experts from the martial Dao Holy Land were caught off guard as they were pulled into the blood sea. They were instantly devoured by the blood sea, leaving nothing behind. The blood demons formed by the blood sea were becoming more and more terrifying. Some of them were even comparable to the real demon gods. Rumble. At this moment, a light flashed in the void as a young man in a golden robe appeared. He was riding on a void golden-eye beast. He looked handsome and heroic as he was surrounded by blazing light. There seemed to be a bright sun rising behind him as he charged at the demon gods in an instant. Zhao Riqian. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he revealed a hint of surprise. The figure that came across the sky was Zhao Riqian. Looking at Zhao Riqian's cultivation, he had already broken through to the divine spirit realm. Don't be surprised. Although I don't like you, How can I, Zhao Riqian, be left out of such a great task as resisting the demon race? Zhao Riqian winked at Ling Xiao as he smiled smugly. Rumble. Chapter 1158. Zhao Riqian threw out a punch and the blazing Grand Sun primordial fire exploded. It contained the power to incinerate everything. In an instant, the blood demon was blasted into pieces. Thank you. Ling Xiao smiled and cupped his fists at Zhao Riqian. Zhao Riqian and Ling Xiao had traveled together from the Eight Desolates region. Although he had caused a lot of trouble for Ling Xiao and was even hostile towards him, he was not a bad person. He only wanted to defeat Ling Xiao and never wanted to kill him. Therefore, Ling Xiao did not have any ill feelings towards him and even admired him. Zhao Riqian was like a cockroach that could not be killed. Moreover, he had heaven-defying luck. Every time Ling Xiao saw him, his strength would increase tremendously and he would have many treasures. Ling Xiao had finally broken through to the divine spirit realm. However, this time, Zhao Riqian had also broken through to the divine spirit realm. Comparisons were odious indeed. Ling Xiao was very grateful that Zhao Riqian could come to his aid. Cut the crap. I just can't stand how arrogant these demons are. They are even more arrogant than I, Zhao Riqian. I can't stand it. I must kill them. Zhao Riqian turned his head away arrogantly and snorted coldly. He then continued to attack the demonic gods. Boom! Zhao Riqian was like a sun that had descended from the 9 heavens. His body was surrounded by endless true sun fire. He looked down at the sea of fire and killed a few demonic gods. The sea of fire started to burn. Crack! At this moment, the void shattered with a loud bang. A cold and vast sword ray came through the sky and broke through the endless demonic light. It then split 2 demonic gods into half. A group of figures with powerful auras walked out from the endless void and appeared in front of everyone. The leader was a woman in white. Her face was clear and her eyes were cold. She was tall and her skin was as clear as jade. Her entire body was emitting a peerless aura. She held a black ancient sword in her hand that was emitting a blazing light. It was bone-chilling as if it could freeze everything. Her cultivation had reached the divine spirit realm. Moreover, she was emitting an aura of life and death. It was mysterious and ancient. Shui Wei. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and his eyes revealed a trace of incomparable joy. Who else could this white-clothed woman be but Shui Wei? Behind her, there were many familiar figures. Pangu Zhan, Pangu Yan, Pangu Yang, King Chujiang, Chu Qianshan, and the others had all arrived. The warriors of the Pangu clan and the Samsara army, in particular, were all brimming with vigor and vigor. Young master. When Shui Wei saw Ling Xiao, a radiant smile blossomed on her cold face. It was as if the entire world had lost its splendor. At this moment, the intense battle in the surroundings, the boiling sea of blood, and the shattered space seemed unimportant. Shui Wei only had Ling Xiao in her eyes. Is she Shui Wei? Looking at Shui Wei in the sky, Jin Sei seemed to have thought of something and nodded gently. Her eyes revealed a trace of reluctance but also a gratified smile. Ling Xiao had once told Jin Sei about Shui Wei, but seeing the way Shui Wei looked at Ling Xiao, how could Jin Sei not understand the feelings Shui Wei had for Ling Xiao? In the long days ahead, if she wasn't around, big brother Ling Xiao would be able to feel at ease with Shui Wei accompanying him, right? But why did she feel a dull ache in her heart? Shui Wei, you're finally out of seclusion. What are you doing here? Ling Xiao asked Shui Wei in surprise. Young master, after I came out of seclusion, I heard from Grandpa Zhu that you might be in danger, so I brought some people to help you. Today, let Shui Wei help you flatten all of these devils. Shui Wei looked at Ling Xiao and smiled gently. Her eyes shone brightly. All right. Ling Xiao nodded. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and looked guiltily at Jin Sei in the distance. He realized that Jin Sei was indeed looking at him with a faint smile. Ling Xiao's scalp went numb. He hurriedly said, "Shui Wei, lead them to kill all the demon gods. Leave the blood demons in the sea of blood to me." With that, Ling Xiao leaped up and charged into the endless sea of blood. Shui Wei looked at Ling Xiao curiously. Ling Xiao looked like he was fleeing. However, the situation was urgent and she didn't have time to think. She immediately led the people from the Samsara temple and charged toward the demon gods. Old Goat and Taoist Wuliang led the ancient demon clan and the three Dao masters to besiege the demon gods. They were initially in a stalemate, but with the addition of Shui Wei and the others, they became unstoppable. The demon gods began to retreat. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, charged towards the surging sea of blood alone. Boom! Ling Xiao swallowed the heaven-mending bead in one gulp and no longer suppressed his cultivation. Instantly, the heaven-mending bead turned into a majestic and pure energy, splitting into three parts and merging into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, dantian, and physical body. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit had already reached a kind of extreme. At this moment, its aura rose and it began to expand rapidly. A vast amount of divine substance also merged into the primordial spirit. In Ling Xiao's consciousness sea, the tiny golden primordial spirit was already hundreds of feet tall. It was like a war god sitting cross-legged in the endless Milky Way, emitting a dazzling light. With Ling Xiao's breakthrough, the tiny primordial spirit suddenly exploded. The dazzling primordial spirit light rain gathered again. Vaguely, it seemed like a mysterious figure was about to be born again. Rumble. Ling Xiao's spiritual energy had proven his Tao and attained the three gods' realm. Almost instantly, Ling Xiao triggered the divine tribulation above the 9 heavens. Heaven and earth trembled, the wind rose, and the clouds surged. Bolts of lightning flashed across the 9 heavens. They were as thick as mountains and contained the power to destroy everything. Endless lightning gathered and formed a vast primordial lightning pool. It was ancient and mysterious. Instantly, it suppressed Ling Xiao. It was as if the Milky Way had been overturned. The lightning was like water and contained an incomparably violent power. It descended. Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This sea of blood was the divine power of demon god King Bo Sun's main body. Ling Xiao wanted to use the power of the divine tribulation to destroy the blood devils as much as possible and weaken demon god King Bo Sun's power. Bolts of lightning descended from the 9 heavens. Although the blood devils in the sea of blood were incomparably terrifying, they were all pierced through by the divine tribulation and turned into dust. Lightning was an extreme yang energy. It had a great restraining effect on dark energy like the demonic qi and the sea of blood. Therefore, when Ling Xiao triggered the divine tribulation, the sea of blood instantly suffered. Bolts of bloody light exploded into nothingness in the lightning. It was as if the entire sea of blood was pierced through. Chapter 1159. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled violently. Rays of blood-red demonic light soared into the sky. They contained monstrous killing intent as if they were going to devour all life force. The sky was filled with lightning tribulations. The ancient lightning pool above the 9 heavens seemed to be overturned. It contained an incomparably terrifying power as it fell into the blood-red sea below. Waves of blood surged into the sky. The surrounding void seemed to be on the verge of shattering. Numerous blood demons were formed from the sea of blood before they were killed by the lightning bolts that filled the sky. Ling Xiao stood in the void. His glabella spewed out a bright light. His primordial spirit actually rushed out of his sea of consciousness. At this moment, his primordial spirit was only 3 feet tall. However, it floated in the void like a bright sun, emitting endless golden light. Bolts of lightning fell from the 9 heavens, enveloping Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. It was as if they had been tempered thousands of times. All of them fell on the golden primordial spirit. Originally, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit had been condensed to the extreme. It could already be considered a pure yang primordial spirit. However, under the tempering of the lightning tribulations, strands of black mist were refined from the primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit became even more radiant. It was crystal clear like a glass crystal. A mysterious divine Tao luster flowed on top of it. Rumble. The lightning became even more terrifying. It poured down like rain. The bolts of lightning were as thick as mountains. They contained incomparably terrifying power fluctuations. Ling Zhao's primordial spirit bobbed up and down in the sea of lightning. It seemed like it was going to be completely shattered. However, Ling Zhao's primordial spirit was filled with a mysterious aura of destiny. In the face of this terrifying lightning tribulation, Ling Zhao's soul was blessed. He activated the secret of heaven's will. The secret of heaven's will was ranked second among the celestial dipper secret techniques. Although it was only an incomplete secret technique, it contained incomparably mysterious and vast power. However, with Ling Zhao's cultivation, there was no way he could cultivate the secret of heaven's will. However, under the lightning tribulation, Ling Zhao seemed to feel a mysterious connection between the secret of heaven's will and his fate. Vaguely, there seemed to be many invisible mysterious lines between the heavenly Tao, destiny, the world, and all living beings. Ling Zhao was entangled in them. Ling Zhao's heart was in chaos. There was no sorrow or joy. It was as if he had become a part of the heavenly Tao. In such a state, Ling Zhao actually felt as if the lightning tribulation above the 9 heavens had become a part of his breathing. As he breathed, the lightning tribulation in the sky began to form a mysterious rhythm, constantly releasing bright light. Thus, a strange scene appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Ling Zhao floated in the air with a solemn expression. A faint smile hung on his lips as his entire body glowed with a resplendent light. His golden primordial spirit hovered above his head, continuously devouring the lightning that filled the sky. Originally, there seemed to be a few mysterious figures flashing in the lightning pool above the 9 heavens, and they were about to rush out. However, as Ling Zhao activated the heavens will secret skill, his entire body became ethereal. The few figures in the lightning pool seemed to have lost their target and began to fall silent. Rumble. Ling Zhao's eyes suddenly opened, and 2 bright rays of light illuminated the void in all directions. As he slammed his palm down from the 9 heavens, the vast lightning in the lightning pool immediately followed his palm and charged towards the blood-red sea below. Rumble. The heavens and earth trembled, and the lightning was unparalleled. The boundless blood-red sea seemed to have been pierced by Ling Zhao's palm, revealing a terrifying abyss where blood and black intertwined. Roar! At this moment, the terrifying existence in the blood-red sea seemed to have been completely enraged by Ling Zhao, and it actually let out a monstrous roar. The existence's aura became more and more terrifying, and in the end, it suddenly burst out from within, filling the air in all directions. Everyone's body trembled, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. It was as if the depths of their souls were trembling. Rumble. A vast whirlpool appeared in the blood-red sea below, and all the blood-red light was actually devoured at this moment. Black demonic energy rose, and chaotic fog filled the air. From the abyss below, a figure with an incomparably terrifying aura walked out. It was a demon god that was tens of thousands of feet tall. He wore black armor and looked extremely similar to a human. However, he had a pair of blue eyes that were like 2 blue stars. They were bright, mysterious, evil, and dark. He was like a huge mountain that walked out from the endless abyss, and appeared in front of everyone. "This is demon god King Bo Sun's true body," Old Goat exclaimed, and his eyes revealed an incomparably solemn expression. "Demon god King Bo Sun has appeared." Everyone's bodies were trembling, and their eyes were filled with terror. Some of them even showed despair. The previous all transformations demon body was already so terrifying. In order to kill that all transformations demon body, even Dugachobai was heavily injured after 3 slashes. Now that demon god King Bo Sun's true body was even more terrifying and powerful, who could kill him? Could it be that the war god's world was really going to be destroyed today? After 10,000 years, he actually recovered to the peak of the true god realm. I'm afraid he's at least in the heavenly god realm. The difference is too great. Zhu Gonglie's eyes were also filled with shock, and he said with a wry smile. Demon god King Bo Sun was indeed a genius. He remembered that 1,000,000 years ago, when demon god King Bo Sun was suppressed by Scarlet Dragon War God, he suffered an unimaginable injury. In addition to 1,000,000 years of suppression, it would be difficult for him to even maintain his divine realm cultivation. However, Zhu Ganglai did not expect that after 10,000 years, demon god King Bo Sun's arrangements would allow his true body to recover to such a terrifying realm. If he chooses that path, he might still have a chance, but I'm afraid Master won't make it in time. Zhu Ganglai was also a little anxious. If Ling Xiao died, he would definitely die immediately, and there would be no chance for him to survive. However, what everyone did not notice was that after demon god King Bo Sun's true body appeared, a trace of mysterious and gentle light appeared on Jin Se, Moon God, and Old Goat. The 100,000 feet tall demon god exuded an endless amount of dark demon qi. The black armor on his body seemed to be severely damaged, and there was a huge hole in his chest, as if it was punched through by someone. Even now, it was still exuding a vast and majestic fist intent, making it impossible for him to heal the wound. Chapter 1160. Ant, you've disturbed this king's recuperation and ruined this king's plans. You'll pay with your life. Even if this king hasn't recovered his peak strength, it's enough to kill a bunch of ants like you. Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes were indifferent as he stared at Ling Xiao. His voice was vast and majestic, like a thunderclap that resounded through heaven and earth. Ling Xiao's gaze instantly became extremely solemn. The lightning that filled the sky was actually unable to affect the demon god King Bo Sun at all. Ling Xiao could feel that when the lightning landed on demon god King Bo Sun's body, it couldn't even penetrate the layer of black light on the surface of his skin. This was demon god King Bo Sun's true body. That overwhelming demonic might was something Ling Xiao had never seen before in his life. It contained the power to destroy everything, and it seemed to make the surrounding void tremble violently. Demon god King Bo Sun, is this your true body? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and the primordial spirit above his head suddenly emitted a majestic devouring power, devouring all the lightning in the sky. Rumble. Ling Xiao's entire body emitted an incomparably resplendent light. His primordial spirit was pure and clear, and his body was flawless. The divine force and laws in his body were as vast as the sea. He seemed to be wrapped in 3 resplendent lights, and 3 Dao flowers appeared above his head. The 3 Dao flowers were incomparably mysterious. They were sparkling and resplendent, flowing with a mysterious light, as if they contained some kind of mystery of heaven and earth. It made people tremble all over with a single glance. Ling Xiao's aura also rose rapidly, and a feeling of perfection welled up in his heart, filling his body with a power of control. Ling Xiao felt as if his fist could tear the sky apart. This was the triple god realm. Seeing Ling Xiao's current state, even demon god King Bo Sun's eyes revealed a trace of shock. Triple god realm? I didn't expect that the mere human race's mortal world not only produced Duga Qiubai who comprehended the Saint Dao, but also you who broke through to the triple god realm. How generous is the heavenly Dao to the human race! However, this king will kill all of you today and devour your fate. This king can also become a saint. Therefore, you'd better die. Rumble. Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent as if it had materialized. He threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Demonic light filled the sky, and the terrifying fist print covered the sky, as if it was going to completely annihilate everyone. It was terrifying to the extreme. This was the first move of the demonic chaotic heavenly demon technique, heavenly demon annihilation. However, its power was more than 10 times or 100 times. Even though Ling Xiao had reached the triple god realm, his gaze was grave at this moment. He felt a fatal killing intent coming at him. Without thinking, a vast and unparalleled divine power erupted from his body, and he also punched out with his fist. When the 2 fists collided, it immediately caused the surrounding void to tremble violently. Endless divine light gushed out, completely drowning Ling Xiao and demon god King Bo Sun. In the next moment, Ling Xiao was sent flying by demon god King Bo Sun's punch. It was as if he was hit by an unparalleled divine force, causing Ling Xiao's body to tremble violently as if it was going to fall apart at any time. Although Ling Xiao had reached the triple god realm and his body was complete and powerful, demon god King Bo Sun's power was too terrifying. It far surpassed the divine spirit realm, and even the true god realm. The two were not on the same level at all. Crackle. Crisp sounds came from Ling Xiao's body as if countless particles of flesh and blood had exploded. However, under Ling Xiao's efforts to maintain the heaven-devouring secret technique, his body was rapidly recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Too strong. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of bitterness. Demon god King Bo Sun's power far exceeded his. Ling Xiao was no match for demon god King Bo Sun. Kill. Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes were incomparably cold as his killing intent boiled. At this moment, he only wanted to kill Ling Xiao completely and kill all these ants of the human race. Although his strength had not fully recovered, he already possessed the battle prowess of a heavenly god realm expert. Dealing with a group of ants that were at most in the divine spirit realm was simply a massacre. At this moment, nothing else mattered. Only power was eternal. Rumble. Demon god King Bo Sun threw another punch at Ling Xiao. This punch contained endless demonic might and baleful aura. It was extremely terrifying, as if it was going to tear Ling Xiao into pieces. Kill. Ling Xiao also began to fight with his life on the line. His body seemed to have exploded as endless golden blood aura rose. Chaotic mist lingered around him as the phantoms of the four divine beasts appeared. Ling Xiao threw a punch as the four divine beasts' sky-striking style exploded with an unstoppable fist intent, as if it was going to destroy everything. Kacha! The void completely collapsed. Countless stars could even be seen revolving around Ling Xiao and demon god King Bo Sun before they exploded in front of the terrifying fist intent. Ling Xiao and demon god King Bo Sun both retreated at the same time. At this moment, Ling Xiao looked like a blood man. Only his eyes were still extremely bright and resplendent. Ling Xiao. Saint. Brother Ling Xiao. Many people from the Changsun sect started to exclaim in shock. Their eyes were filled with anxiety. If this continued, Ling Xiao would definitely be defeated. Die! Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes revealed a trace of cruelty as he threw a third punch at Ling Xiao. This punch was extremely vast and contained an extremely terrifying killing intent. It was as if a heavenly demon had descended and millions of demon gods were massacring the world as they wanted to rule this eternal world. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of madness as the mysterious power of destiny flowed around him. There was even a trace of the radiance of time flickering. Age menstruation and reversing fate technique. Ling Xiao was prepared to use these two peerless divine techniques to fight demon god King Bo Sun. Although Ling Xiao did not know if the cycle of time and the art of reversing fate could contend against demon god King Bo Sun, Ling Xiao also knew that after this attack, he would no longer have any fighting strength left. If demon god King Bo Sun did not die, he would definitely die. However, he had no choice. Suddenly, a red figure soared into the sky. That figure was like a red flame that contained an eternal radiance. There were even resplendent flashes of lightning as sword intent filled the air. There was also an eternal and unmoving Buddhist light that instantly blocked in front of Ling Xiao. Jin Sei. Chapter 1161. Jin Sei, go back. Ling Xiao shouted crazily. He wanted to send Jin Sei back without thinking. Big brother Ling Xiao, let me do one last thing for you. Jin Sei smiled at Ling Xiao. Her eyes were filled with endless gentleness and longing. However, in the next moment, her eyes became extremely cold. Rumble. An ancient, mysterious, and vast power erupted from Jin Sei's body. Her red dress fluttered like a ball of flowing flames. She exuded an aura of peerless magnificence. She was like a goddess from the 9 heavens, beautiful beyond compare. A terrifying aura flowed around her body. At this moment, her aura changed drastically. It was as if she had turned into an invincible empress who looked down on the world. She slowly stretched out her slender hand and turned it into a blazing sword light, slashing towards demon god King Bo Sun. No, Jin Sei. Ling Xiao seemed to have thought of something. His eyes immediately turned red. His eyes were filled with extreme fear as he roared crazily. However, it was too late. Demon god King Bo Sun's terrifying fist collided with the dazzling sword light. Rumble. The surrounding void violently trembled. The radiance was dazzling and resplendent to the extreme. That resplendent sword light was eternal and seemed to contain some kind of mysterious power. It actually split apart the demonic light and ruthlessly slashed demon god King Bo Sun's body. You are a spiritual venerable? Damn it! How are you still alive? Demon god King Bo Sun's exasperated voice came from the terrifying divine light storm. Immediately, the surrounding void trembled violently. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, another 3 figures soared into the sky. The old goat held the demon saint scepter in his hand. His body shone brightly as he turned into an old man with white hair and beard. He wore hemp clothes and straw sandals. His entire body exuded a vast and majestic aura, overflowing with an ancient aura. The moon god's aura was cold. She was wearing a white dress. She instantly soared into the sky like a fairy from the moon palace. Her aura was mysterious and powerful. Behind her, there seemed to be a full moon rising. In the distance, the void seemed to break open in an instant. An ancient monk with his palms together walked out from an unknown world. He looked very strange. His whole body exuded 2 different kinds of aura. Half of it was vast Buddhist light, and the other half was monstrous demonic chi. It seemed as if he was divided into 2 halves from the middle. His face looked somewhat terrifying. This ancient monk was actually the devil Buddha that Ling Xiao had seen in the 8 Desolates region. However, at this moment, the auras of the old goat, moon god, and demon Buddha seemed to have changed. Their bodies emitted an ancient and vast mysterious fluctuation, as if they had changed into another person. Their auras were incomparably powerful. Rumble. Rays of light exploded in the void, and the boundless demonic light was annihilated. Demon god King Bo Sun seemed to have been struck by lightning, his body trembled violently, and he was actually sent flying backwards. Jin Sei's red dress fluttered in the wind, and her beauty was peerless. Her eyes seemed to have a resplendent sword light rising, bringing with it an invincible sword intent that could split the heavens and earth. At this moment, Jin Sei, old goat, moon god, and demon Buddha had a vast amount of divine power rising from their bodies. Like 4 resplendent pillars of divine light, they enveloped demon god King Bo Sun. The scene before them not only shocked demon god King Bo Sun, but also everyone else. No one knew what had happened. Why were the 4 of them able to emit such terrifying aura fluctuations? Good. Very good. Spirit Sage, Beast Saint, Moon Mother, and Buddha Lord, I thought you guys had really survived. I didn't expect you to only leave behind a trace of your soul. Is this the backup plan you guys left behind? Do you really think you can kill me with just a few traces of your soul? Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes blazed with killing intent, and became incomparably gloomy. What he didn't expect was that the 4 great divine generals under Spirit Sage, Beast Saint, Moon Mother, and Scarlet Dragon War God actually left behind a backup plan, and completely awakened at the crucial moment. The 4 terrifying auras were incomparably powerful, making him very wary. One must know that although Spirit Sage, Beast Saint, Moon Mother, and Buddha Lord were the 4 great divine generals under Scarlet Dragon War God in name, Demon God King Bo Sun knew that the 4 of them were actually good friends of Scarlet Dragon War God. Moreover, they were the peerless geniuses of the several terrifying forces in the divine realm. Although they only left behind a trace of their soul, they were still able to emit a terrifying aura when attached to Jin Sei and the others. Especially Jin Sei and Demon Buddha, these 2 people made Demon God King Bo Sun extremely wary. The sword intent on Jin Sei's body was vast and majestic, growing and multiplying endlessly, making demon god King Bo Sun vaguely feel as if he was seeing spirit sage a million years ago. And Demon Buddha gave demon god King Bo Sun a very strange feeling, as if Buddha Lord himself wasn't dead at all. That half-devil, half-Buddha aura made Buddha Lord's power incomparably terrifying. Bo Sun, you should have died a million years ago. I didn't expect that after a million years, you would still dare to continue your evil deeds. Then, let's end it today. Jean Sei said lightly, her voice was incomparably cold, like a wind chime ringing in the void. What? Everyone was shocked as well. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. The four great divine generals actually didn't die. This is just too unbelievable. Ha ha ha. With the four great divine generals, demon god King Bo Sun will definitely die. War god world is saved. Everyone was discussing animatedly, and their eyes were filled with excitement. That's not necessarily true. Didn't you hear what demon god King Bo Sun said? The four great divine generals are only left with a remnant soul. Whether they can kill demon god King Bo Sun or not is still unknown. That's right. I hope the four great divine generals can completely eliminate Bo Sun, otherwise our war god world will really be in danger. Everyone was excited, some were worried, and each of them had different expressions. So, the power hidden in Jean Sei's body was really left behind by Spirit Sage. Ling Xiao laughed bitterly as a trace of worry appeared in his eyes. After finding Jean Sei in Sealed World, Ling Xiao felt that with Jean Sei's cultivation, it was impossible for her to have such terrifying power. At that time, he faintly felt that there was an incomparably powerful power sealed in Jean Sei's body. Although he had some guesses at that time, Jean Sei was already poisoned by the seven-soul dissipating soul light, so Ling Xiao had no way to investigate. But he didn't expect that it was actually the power left behind by Spirit Sage in Jean Sei's body. Oh. Chapter 1162. At this moment, an indifferent voice was transmitted into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Kid, you are the successor of the Scarlet Dragon War God. I hope you can carry on his legacy and kill demon god King Bo Sun. With the four of us, we can only trap Bo Sun at most, but we can't kill him. When we trap him, you take the wordless heavenly book and enter his sea of consciousness. If you can completely destroy his primordial spirit, Bo Sun will definitely die. This is our only chance. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned before he reacted. The voice just now came from Jean Sei, or rather, the spiritual sage. Alright. But... Senior, Jean Sei has been poisoned by the seven souls dispersing soul light. If I take the wordless heavenly book, will her life be in danger? Ling Xiao asked after some consideration. He was also testing the spiritual sage's attitude. He wanted to see if the spiritual sage did not care about Jean Sei's life and was prepared to take over her body. Don't worry. I am just a remnant soul. After this battle, I will completely dissipate. In a while, I will temporarily seal the seven souls dispersing soul light. As long as you can kill Bo Sun in time and devour his primordial spirit, you will be able to find the way to remove the seven souls dispersing soul light. The spiritual sage seemed to have seen through Ling Xiao's thoughts and said indifferently. Thank you, Senior. Ling Xiao immediately felt relieved. Rumble. At this moment, demon god King Bo Sun had already attacked the four great divine generals. Although demon god King Bo Sun's strength had not fully recovered, his vision was still extremely high. He could naturally see that the power of the four remnant souls could not last long and was very superficial. Therefore, after a short period of shock, he did not take the four great divine generals seriously. A million years ago, the four great divine generals were not his opponents when they were at their peak. Now, with only four remnant souls left, how could they suppress him? Boom! Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes seemed to shoot out a black divine light. That was the demon god's eye. It contained an incomparably mysterious and vast power, as if it could analyze the laws of heaven and earth and predict the enemy's moves. Previously, when the Supreme True Dragon and Ling Xiao fought, he used the demon god's eye and caused Ling Xiao to suffer a great loss. Clearly, demon god King Bo Sun attached great importance to the four divine generals, so he directly used demon god eyes. He threw a punch at the four great divine generals. His fist was unstoppable and contained an unparalleled power. Ha ha ha. Fellow cultivators, I didn't expect that we would meet again after 1,000,000 years. Today, let us destroy Bo Sun completely. Then, I can die in peace. The beast saint laughed heartily. His eyes were filled with a monstrous battle intent. The demon saint's scepter in his hand swept across the sky, shattering the void in all directions. At the same time, there seemed to be a mysterious black hole floating behind him, containing a power fluctuation that could devour everything. Kill! The Moon Mother simply spat out a word. Two bright moons flew out from her eyes and intertwined with each other. They spun rapidly and slashed towards Bo Sun with unparalleled sharpness. Ba. If I don't enter hell, who will? The Buddha Lord smiled faintly. However, half of his face was covered in Buddhist light while the other half was covered in demonic chi. He punched out with unparalleled ferocity. It actually contained the power of Buddha and demonic chi, perfectly fusing together in this punch. It was like a Vajra destroying the world, terrifying beyond compare. The last spiritual sovereign didn't say a word. She simply slashed her sword towards Bo Sun. Her red dress fluttered like a flowing flame. It contained an incomparably mysterious and powerful aura, causing the sword intent around her to rise to the extreme. Even Dugachobai couldn't help but open his eyes at this moment. His gaze revealed a trace of astonishment. If Dugachobai's sword was the sword of human Tao, containing destruction and vitality, boundless and unparalleled, capable of destroying the heavens and creating the world with one slash, then the spiritual sovereign's sword was the sword of heavenly Tao. It contained a mysterious concept of supreme indifference and a mysterious spirituality. When the sword fell, it seemed to have cut through the laws of heaven and earth, broke through time and space, and destroyed all traces of fate. It went straight for Bo Sun's true soul. The four great divine generals attacked at the same time. Even though Bo Sun knew that they were only remnant souls and couldn't maintain their power for long, his gaze couldn't help but turn serious at this moment. Rumble. Heaven and earth rose, and the light was blazing. Endless primal chaos fog enveloped the five of them. Strange scenes constantly appeared, and then they were quickly destroyed. The demonic saint's scepter bore the brunt of the attack. It was like a heavenly pillar collapsing as it violently collided with Bo Sun's fist. In an instant, the demonic saint's scepter violently trembled and demonic saint was directly sent flying by Bo Sun's fist. Two resplendent moons intertwined and came from behind Bo Sun, slashing towards his neck. Bo Sun didn't even look back and directly punched out. The two resplendent moons were directly destroyed by his fist. Bo Sun, who had the demonic god eyes state, was simply invincible. However, most of his attention was still on the Buddhist lord and spiritual sage. Whether it was the Buddhist lord's state of demonic Buddha unification or the spiritual sage's sword of highest heavenly Tao, they both made him feel extremely threatened. Boom! Buddhist light illuminated 3,000 worlds as demonic energy surged. The Buddhist lord's fist was incomparably ferocious, as if it was a fist that could split heaven and earth apart. It actually directly shattered Bo Sun's fist. At the same time, the spiritual sage's sword of highest heavenly Tao also fell. A snow-white sword light traversed the sky. It was mighty and contained an incomparably terrifying sharpness, as if it wanted to completely annihilate everything. The Buddhist lord and spiritual sage's attacks seemed to have instantly caused Bo Sun to fall into a dangerous state. Roar! Demon monarch Bo Sun suddenly let out a roar that shook the heaven and earth. This roar was like the roar of a primordial true demon. Endless demonic light rose from Bo Sun's body as a supreme true demon phantom appeared behind him. A monstrous giant hand slammed down towards the Buddhist lord and spiritual venerables. Rumble. The Buddhist lord's incomparably ferocious fist was directly shattered, while the spiritual sage's monstrous sword instantly split the phantom of the supreme true demon into two halves. Bo Sun seemed to have expected this. The murderous intent in his eyes blazed as he instantly shifted behind spiritual sage. The aura around his body was incomparably ethereal as he shrunk to a height of 16 feet. He avoided the sword and then pointed his finger towards spiritual sage's forehead. The ancient demonic finger was like a heavenly pillar, exuding an eternal and inextinguishable murderous intent. It wanted to completely destroy the murderous intent around spiritual sage. Suppress. Chapter 1163. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled violently, and the light was dazzling. A mysterious bronze temple appeared in the void, exuding an ancient and mysterious aura. It was vast and unparalleled, as if it came from the nine heavens' divine world. It was terrifying beyond compare. Suppress. 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 At the same time, 3 ancient syllables rang out in the void, containing boundless power. Behind the monster saint, the Moon Mother, and the Buddha Lord, a bronze divine palace appeared, flowing with a mysterious light. The light was extremely bright. Every single bronze temple was suffused with boundless chaotic mist, and they contained extremely terrifying energy. Their auras intertwined with each other, and they seemed to have formed an extremely vast grand formation. The 4 bronze palaces instantly enveloped demon god King Bo Sun. Is the true purpose of the bronze temples to seal demon gods? A sharp light flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes, revealing an incomparably shocked expression. He had seen the bronze temples in the depths of the 8 Desolates region, primitive ancient mine, time cave, and other places. At that time, he felt that the bronze temples were extraordinary, and perhaps it was related to the Scarlet Dragon war god. Now that he saw the 4 great generals summon the 4 bronze temples, he understood. What? This is the demon-suppressing divine temple that bastard Scarlet Dragon left behind. How can you activate it with your strength? Demon god King Bo Sun's expression changed instantly, as if he was flustered and exasperated. There was even a trace of unconcealable fear in his eyes. 9 demon-suppressing divine temples to suppress the war god world. You want to kill your way into the war god world by every means possible. Besides wanting to obtain the wordless heavenly book, I'm afraid you also think that no one can activate the demon-suppressing divine temple. Unfortunately, the Scarlet Dragon war god had already expected this day and left behind a backup plan. Bo Sun, prepare to die. Jean Sei's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as she said faintly. Rumble. 4 bronze palaces floated in the void. Endless chaotic mist rose. Instantly, 4 chaotic-colored chains containing terrifying power shot out from the palaces and wrapped around Bo Sun. Bo Sun's body trembled, and he prepared to escape without thinking. However, the 4 bronze temples intertwined with each other, sealing the void in all directions. Demon god King Bo Sun had no chance of escaping. Whoosh! The 4 primal chaos chains instantly pierced through demon god King Bo Sun's protective demonic light, and abruptly wrapped around him. Ah! I can't accept this. You want to seal this king with just 4 remnant souls? I want to see how long you can last. When this king escapes, all of you will die, all of you will die. A furious roar came from Bo Sun's mouth, causing the surrounding space to tremble violently. Beams of demonic light rose, but they were all suppressed by the 4 bronze temples. Demon god King Bo Sun's body was trapped in the 4 bronze temples, and he had no way of escaping. As for the Spirit Elder, Demon Saint, Moon Mother and Buddha Lord, the 4 great divine generals, their complexions were incomparably pale. Although they were able to activate the 4 demon-suppressing divine palaces, their strength was rapidly being consumed. Although the power of the demon-suppressing divine palaces was terrifying, it was impossible for them to completely annihilate demon god King Bo Sun. Ling Zhao, it's up to you now. The Spirit Elder's voice transmitted into Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness. At this moment, the Spirit Elder's body emitted an ancient and mysterious aura, instantly sealing the power of the 7 souls' scattered soul light. The wordless heavenly book turned into a stream of light, and instantly flew back into Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness. Senior, don't worry. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness, and he instantly leaped up, flying into the bronze temples. At this moment, demon god King Bo Sun was completely sealed by the demon-suppressing divine palaces. No matter if it was his physical body, divine power or primordial spirit, they were all sealed by the demon-suppressing divine palaces. At this moment, demon god King Bo Sun was at his weakest. Ling Xiao understood the spirit elder's meaning. He had to take advantage of this opportunity to kill demon god King Bo Sun in one fell swoop. Otherwise, there would be endless troubles in the future. Rumble. In the center of the four demons suppressing divine palaces, endless primal chaos mist interweaved, like a world of primal chaos. Ling Xiao flew into it, and immediately saw demon god King Bo Sun's body pierced by 4 chains. Although his body was slightly trembling, he seemed to have lost consciousness. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he directly sat cross-legged in the primal chaos mist. The wordless heavenly book wrapped his primordial spirit, and instantly rushed into demon god King Bo Sun's sea of consciousness. It was a great taboo for the primordial spirit to rashly rush into another's sea of consciousness, especially when one's cultivation was lower than the oth's. It was almost certain death. This was the first time Ling Xiao's primordial spirit had left his body, but this was also due to demon god King Bo Sun being sealed by the demon-suppressing divine palaces. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had the protection of the wordless heavenly book. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to rush into demon god King Bo Sun's sea of consciousness. Boom! The wordless heavenly book shone brightly. At this moment, demon god King Bo Sun was powerless to stop Ling Xiao, and could only watch as Ling Xiao entered his sea of consciousness. Demon god King Bo Sun's sea of consciousness was like a world of darkness. It contained boundless demonic light, as if it was the origin of the demonic path. In the center of the sea of consciousness, there was a bright light spreading out. It was a strange crystal that contained boundless power, and at this moment, it was imprinted on the forehead of demon god King Bo Sun's primordial spirit. That was the Godhead. The so-called Godhead was a crystal formed by a divine spirit realm expert who had obtained the recognition of the laws of the realm of gods. It contained the majority of the divine spirit realm expert's power. Just like Ling Xiao, he had reached the 3 gods realm, but he had yet to enter the realm of gods. Without the recognition of the laws of the realm of gods, he naturally couldn't condense the Godhead. After condensing the Godhead, the battle strength of a divine realm expert would increase by a terrifying amount. Rumble. At this moment, demon god King Bo Sun's primordial spirit was also pierced through by 4 primal chaos chains, and was firmly bound. However, his consciousness was still clear. When he saw Ling Xiao, his eyes immediately revealed a ferocious killing intent. Wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao, aren't you afraid that I will activate the 7 souls dispersing soul light and kill your little lover? Demon god King Bo Sun sneered. Previously, he had sensed that Ling Xiao's wordless heavenly book was suppressing the 7 souls dispersing soul light in Jin Sei's sea of consciousness. At this moment, when he saw Ling Xiao bring the wordless heavenly book into his sea of consciousness, he immediately felt that something was amiss. Bo Sun, you are still bluffing. You can't even protect yourself, so how can you activate the 7 souls dispersing soul light? Stop stalling for time, you will definitely die today. Chapter 1164. Boom! Ling Xiao's primordial spirit emitted a resplendent golden light, and his body was filled with dragon's might, as if he had turned into a golden divine dragon. He punched towards demon god King Bo Sun. At the same time, divine power rose behind Ling Xiao, as vast as the sea. The heaven-devouring divine sea appeared, turning into a boundless devouring whirlpool, and began to devour the primordial spirit power emitted by demon god King Bo Sun. And, with a mere divine spirit realm cultivation, do you really think that you can kill me with the wordless heavenly book? Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes were blazing with killing intent. He knew it was useless to say anything now. Seeing Ling Xiao charging towards him, his body was also enveloped in demonic light. One of his arms suddenly pulled the chain of primal chaos and swept it towards Ling Xiao. Although the power of the demon-suppressing divine palace was terrifying, it could only completely suppress demon god King Bo Sun's body. However, it seemed to be lacking in power against his primordial spirit, and could easily drag the 4 primal chaos chains. If the 9 demons suppressing divine palaces were to move at the same time, they might be able to completely suppress demon god King Bo Sun. Unfortunately, the 4 great divine generals' power was limited, and could only activate 4 demons suppressing divine palaces. Rumble. The 2 fists collided, and a dazzling radiance burst out. Ling Xiao felt a destructive power spreading towards his primordial spirit, and the wordless heavenly book flashed, and instantly devoured that power. With the protection of the wordless heavenly book, Ling Xiao seemed to be in an invincible position. However, demon god King Bo Sun's strength was too terrifying, and this was demon god King Bo Sun's home ground. Ling Xiao had no way to completely destroy demon god King Bo Sun's primordial spirit. An intense battle erupted in demon god King Bo Sun's sea of consciousness. Endless divine light rose, and terrifying divine power interweaved, terrifying to the extreme. This was a pure battle of gods. If the primordial spirit was heavily injured, the body would probably suffer irreversible damage. Therefore, this battle was incomparably dangerous. Ling Xiao and demon god King Bo Sun's primordial spirit were fiercely fighting, and the 4 great divine generals outside were also using all their strength to activate the demon-suppressing demon god King Bo Sun. Seeing that demon god King Bo Sun was suppressed by the demon-suppressing divine palace, those demon gods seemed to have gone mad. They all fearlessly rushed towards the 4 great divine generals, wanting to save demon god King Bo Sun. But how could the old goat, Taoist Wuliang and the others let them succeed? Many powerhouses surrounded the 4 great divine generals, and an extremely intense defensive battle broke out. Countless powerhouses of the devil race died in battle, and blood flowed like rivers. In the end, Duge Qiubai directly took action. A sword ray swept across the world with endless destructive power. Several demon gods were instantly slain by his sword. With the addition of Duge Qiubai, everyone was like a tiger that had grown wings. Their confidence was boosted, and they began to encircle and kill the demons. Just as a fierce battle was going on in the heavenly devil ancient land. Ancestor Zhang Su, Shaman King Qi Kongjue of the sorcerer tribe, and Heavenly King Bai Wuliang of the heavenly human tribe stood in the chaotic void. A light screen was in front of them, clearly displaying the scene of the great battle in the heavenly devil ancient land. Fellow Taoists, can you make your move now? Qi Kongjue's eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit that was eager to give it a try. Seeing the 4 demon god palaces sealing Bo Sun and Ling Xiao rushing into the demon god palaces to kill Bo Sun, Qi Kongjue immediately couldn't hold back. No, now is not the time. Bai Wuliang's eyes flashed, and he slowly shook his head. Brother Bai is right. Now is not the time to make our move. Bo Sun's battle strength is too terrifying. I'm afraid he already has the battle strength of a heavenly god. Even if the 3 of us join forces, we won't have the slightest chance of victory. If we make our move now, it's equivalent to helping Bo Sun break the demon god palaces. Let's continue to wait, and hope that Ling Xiao can seriously injure Bo Sun with the wordless heavenly book. When the other side is completely defeated, that will be the time for us to make our move. Zhang Su's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. How boring. Wouldn't it be better if we just rush over and fight? You two really like to play tricks. Qi Kongjue curled his lips and said with some dissatisfaction. However, he also knew that Bai Wuliang and Zhang Su were speaking the truth. If they were to make their move now, they might really die in the hands of Bo Sun. Qi Kongjue, let alone Bo Sun, even that human Duge Qiubai, are you his match? Zhang Su looked at Duge Qiubai on the screen of light with a trace of strange light in his eyes and said slowly. Duge Qiubai. That guy is too abnormal. When Duge Qiubai was mentioned, Qi Kongjue's eyes revealed a trace of fear. To be able to cultivate to the deity realm in the human world was already a peerless talent and incomparably heaven-defying talent. However, this guy actually comprehended the foundation of the Saint Tao. This was simply too frightening. Duga Chobai used the power of destruction and life to kill Bo Sun's myriad transformations demon body. Qi Kongjue, Bai Wuliang, and Zhang Su were all stunned when they saw this scene. They believed without a doubt that if that sword was aimed at them, they would definitely die without the slightest chance. Using the Saint Dao sword in the human world is simply the path to death. Right now, his vitality has been greatly damaged and he can't deal with us anymore. However, we still have to be on guard. So, let's wait and see the result of this battle. Bai Wuliang finally spoke. Clearly, he was also very afraid of Duga Chobai. The luck of the human race is truly enviable. The war god's world has already produced the heaven-defying Duga Chobai and Ling Xiao, who has reached the three-god stage. How generous is the heavens to the human race? Zhang Su also sighed softly. That's right. To be able to reach the three-god realm in the human world, his talent is not inferior to Duga Chobai's foundation of the Saint Dao. It can be said that as long as Ling Xiao dies, he will definitely become a saint in the future. Unfortunately, he obtained the wordless heavenly book. A man's wealth is his own ruin. He will definitely die this time. Bai Wuliang nodded and said. The three supreme experts stood in the void and watched the battle in the heavenly devil ancient land. They were ready to take action at any time. In the demon-suppressing divine palace, the battle between Ling Xiao and Bo Sun's soul had already lasted for 3 days. The spiritual elder and the other 4 great divine generals were also on the verge of collapse, as if they couldn't hold on any longer. Their hearts were filled with anxiety. If Ling Xiao was unable to kill Bo Sun, then Bo Sun would really be able to escape from his predicament. In Bo Sun's sea of consciousness, the battle between Ling Xiao and Bo Sun seemed to have reached its final stage. Rumble. Chapter 1165. The wordless heavenly book shone brightly as it floated above demon god King Bo Sun's sea of consciousness, emitting an eternal light. Demon god King Bo Sun's body emitted demonic light, but after being illuminated by the wordless heavenly book, it instantly melted like snow. Ling Xiao's body shone with resplendent light. Under the support of the wordless heavenly book, he was incomparably ferocious. His strength was extremely powerful, and each of his punches contained an incomparably terrifying power. Demon god King Bo Sun roared again and again. In these 3 days, although he possessed an extremely powerful strength, he was greatly restrained by the wordless heavenly book, causing him to be riddled with wounds. Demon god King Bo Sun knew that with the wordless heavenly book, he would not be able to injure Ling Xiao's primordial spirit at all. The reason why he was able to hold on until now was because he felt that the 4 great divine generals would not be able to hold on for so long. Once the 4 great divine generals could no longer hold on, his opportunity would come. Ling Xiao also understood this point, so his attacks were incomparably ferocious. Furthermore, he used the power of the wordless heavenly book to continuously attack demon god King Bo Sun. In these 3 days, demon god King Bo Sun's injuries accumulated, and in the end, he began to weaken. Rumble. Suddenly, demonic light rose from demon god King Bo Sun's body. The few primal chaos chains seemed to be unable to support his strength and were directly broken by demon god King Bo Sun. Ling Xiao, without the demon god King Bo Sun, all of you will die. Ha ha ha. Demon god King Bo Sun let out a wild laugh, his eyes filled with cold killing intent. His primordial spirit had already broken free from the binding of the primal chaos chains. This meant that the 4 great divine generals' strength had weakened to the extreme. Soon, his body would be able to break free from the suppression of the demon god King Bo Sun. Rumble. Heaven and earth violently trembled, and the 4 bronze palaces began to tremble. Wind and clouds surged, and endless divine light shone dazzlingly. The 4 great divine generals' figures seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Not good. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang and the others revealed a worried look. Until now, Ling Xiao had not killed demon god King Bo Sun. If the 4 great divine generals really could not hold on, then they would really be finished. Brothers, let's go. This time, we must not let demon god King Bo Sun escape. We must help Master completely destroy Bo Sun. A sharp light flashed in Mu Linfeng's eyes as he spoke to Yi Qianjue and the others. He was dressed in white and had a heroic bearing. He looked extraordinary and there was a mysterious aura flowing around his body. Boom! He instantly soared into the sky, and the light around him was dazzling. In the void, the shadow of a seven-colored gourd appeared, revealing an ancient, mysterious, and vast energy fluctuation. Yes, senior brother. The other 6 brothers all shouted at the same time and soared into the sky at the same time. Their bodies were all shining with dazzling light. Rumble. Mu Linfeng's group of 7 had devoured the 7 evils gourd's 7 evils origin force. At this moment, they were half flesh and half magic treasure. There was a mysterious connection between them. At this moment, the 7 of them soared into the sky at the same time. 7 resplendent rays of light fused together and turned into a 7-colored gourd. It flowed with 7-colored multicolored light and instantly flew down towards the devil-suppressing divine palace. Boom! The violently struggling demon god King Bo Sun seemed to have been suppressed by some terrifying power and instantly became very obedient. The 7 evils gourd floated above demon god King Bo Sun's head and the 7-colored light completely sealed him. 7 evils gourd? Damn it, how can a mere mortal world have such a treasure? In his sea of consciousness, demon god King Bo Sun's origin spirit was incomparably gloomy as he coldly said in disbelief. With the 7 evils gourd suppression, it was almost impossible for him to escape in a short period of time. Bo Sun, you will die today without a doubt. Die! Killing intent flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes and he instantly threw a punch at demon god King Bo Sun. Don't think that the wordless heavenly book is an invincible existence. Ling Zhao, since you don't know life from death, this king will fulfill your wish. Demon god King Bo Sun's eyes revealed an extremely gloomy light as his killing intent blazed. Boom! The light around him was resplendent as his aura rose rapidly as if it contained an extremely terrifying power. Endless demonic light gushed out. Behind him, in a black vortex, an eye seemed to appear. That eye suddenly opened, and a black light containing the purest destructive power rushed towards Ling Zhao. The power of the demon god's eye was actually activated by demon god King Bo Sun's origin spirit. That black light was like the light of annihilation. It contained an incomparably terrifying power, and it instantly pounced towards Ling Zhao. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as if he was not surprised at all. He still rushed towards demon god King Bo Sun. Freeze! Ling Zhao suddenly spat out an extremely ancient syllable that contained a mysterious power. That terrifying black light seemed to be frozen in the void. The power of the Age of Time was activated. With Ling Zhao's current cultivation of the 3 gods realm, he could already barely activate a trace of the power of the Age of Time without suffering too much of a backlash. However, his body still trembled as if his origin spirit was about to collapse. What? Demon god King Bo Sun felt as if he had fallen into a quagmire. His entire body seemed to be fixed in the void by some kind of power of law. Next, Ling Zhao instantly pounced on him. His entire body emitted a mysterious fluctuation of fate. A void flame burned in the void and slammed down on him. Ling Zhao's entire body was burning. The void fire spread as if it had reached demon god King Bo Sun's body in an instant. You! How can you activate the power of the Age of Time and the art of reversing fate? Demon god King Bo Sun was not only shocked at this moment, but also terrified. Although he knew that the Scarlet Dragon War God had the Age of Time and the art of reversing fate, the power of time and the power of fate were too mysterious. Even a divine king would find it difficult to comprehend them. He did not think that Ling Zhao could activate the power of these 2 divine techniques. However, he did not expect that Ling Zhao had not used these 2 divine techniques before. He had been enduring until now, but at the crucial moment of the divine war, they erupted. This time, demon god King Bo Sun was caught unprepared. Rumble. The void fire could also be said to be the fire of fate. It was the power of Ling Zhao's reversal of fate. It instantly enveloped demon god King Bo Sun. Under the superposition of the power of time and the power of fate, even if demon god King Bo Sun was as strong as a divine king, he was still severely injured. Boom! Chapter 1166. Just like a resplendent crystal shattering, demon god King Bushuan's primordial spirit exploded into hundreds of pieces, each of which contained boundless power. The wordless heavenly book's radiance was dazzling as it instantly enveloped the hundreds of primordial spirit fragments. However, demon god King Bushuan's vitality was extremely tenacious. Even after being heavily injured by the Heaven's Will's secret technique, he actually didn't die completely. He was still resisting the wordless heavenly book's devouring. Ling Xiao could feel that demon god King Bushuan's primordial spirit was extremely powerful. Especially that godhead, which seemed to contain a trace of demon god King Bushuan's primordial spirit, allowing him to not die immediately. Rumble. Ling Xiao made a prompt decision and urged the wordless heavenly book with all his strength. The wordless heavenly book shone brightly as if it had turned into a vast chaotic world, instantly swallowing demon god King Bushuan's primordial spirit fragment and godhead. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit also instantly flew into the wordless heavenly book. Damn it, you ant! How could you possibly kill me? I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Demon god King Bushuan's roar resounded, but it came to an abrupt end in an instant. Ling Xiao didn't dare to be careless or relax in the slightest. He sat cross-legged in the wordless heavenly book and began to frantically devour demon god King Bushuan's primordial spirit fragment. Demon god King Bushuan's primordial spirit fragment contained an extremely terrifying and boundless power. It was simply a great supplement for the wordless heavenly book at this moment. Most of the power was devoured by the wordless heavenly book, while the purest power was fed back to Ling Xiao, causing his primordial spirit to skyrocket. Most importantly, demon god King Bushuan's primordial spirit fragment contained demon god King Bushuan's memories, experiences, cultivation methods, and other important information. At this moment, all of it was devoured by the wordless heavenly book and completely absorbed by Ling Xiao. It was as if Ling Xiao was receiving demon god King Bushuan's inheritance. It was even more thorough than receiving demon god King Bushuan's inheritance, as if it had completely devoured him. This is the cultivation method of the myriad transformations demon scripture. It's indeed mysterious and unfathomable. Demon god King Bushuan actually obtained it from the ancient ruins of the demon realm. Legend has it that it's cultivation method of the myriad transformations demon saint. Although it is somewhat incomplete, it can help me condense the origin source demon bone. Ling Xiao immediately became overjoyed after absorbing the information from the soul fragment. Demon god King Bo Sun's 10,000 transformations demonic scripture was incomparably wondrous. It was not as simple as a mere clone. Every 10,000 transformations demonic body was a life, and could be said to be immortal. The reason Ling Xiao obtained the origin demon bone was because his primordial spirit was too weak to refine the origin demon bone. Secondly, he didn't have a powerful martial art to refine the origin demon bone into a doppelganger. Now, after killing demon god King Bo Sun, the conditions to refine the origin demon bone were all met. He instantly took out the origin demon bone. While cultivating the myriad transformations demon scripture, he used demon god King Bo Sun's boundless primordial spirit to refine the origin demon bone in preparation for refining his avatar. Outside. With the 7 evils gourd suppressing demon god King Bo Sun, the pressure on the 4 divine generals was greatly reduced. However, their remnant souls were already on the brink of exhaustion. They were just trying their best to hold on. Although Ling Xiao had already shattered the soul of Bo Sun demon god king, the people outside did not know about this, and continued to suppress Bo Sun demon god king. Rumble. On the war god continent, countless experts rushed to the heavenly devil ancient land, preparing to do their part in exterminating the demons. But on this day, a strange change suddenly occurred in the sky. Endless lightning fell from the 9 heavens, exuding a mysterious and ancient aura. A mysterious passageway seemed to have appeared in the sky. Dazzling divine light fell from the passageway. It was gorgeous and mysterious. Boundless divine Tao laws filled the air, and endless lightning rose. It was as if the void had shattered. From that passage, 6 mysterious figures floated down. These 6 figures stood in the 9 heavens, staring down at the vast war god continent. Their eyes gleamed with sharpness and were incomparably indifferent, like divine dragons looking down on ants. Their bones exuded a coldness as if they were looking down on the common people. There were men and women among those 6 figures, and each of them had an incomparably terrifying aura. Their bodies were filled with resplendent divine light and boundless divine might. They were all divine realm experts. This is the war god's world, the place where war god Scarlet Dragon descended. The world's spiritual energy is so thin, and the divine Tao laws are incomparably weak. It looks very ordinary. A cold voice slowly sounded. On the surface, it looks ordinary, but I can feel that there are some places here that I can't see through. Maybe there are still experts from the war a million years ago that survived. If we can capture them, we can naturally understand the situation of this world very quickly. There's no need to go through so much trouble. We can just push through. In a mere mortal world, I don't believe that anyone dares to defy our divine decree. The most important thing this time is to search for the wordless heavenly book. No matter what, the wordless heavenly book can't fall into the hands of the demon realm. We must bring it back to the divine realm. The 6 divine realm experts conversed with each other. They didn't conceal their aura at all, so when they appeared, it instantly caused a commotion in the entire war god continent. It also attracted the attention of Zhang Su, Bai Wuliang, and Qi Kongjue. Experts from the divine realm have descended? Not good. If they discover the anomaly in the heavenly devil ancient land, I'm afraid we're done for. Qi Kongjue's eyes revealed a trace of unsightly expression. He could feel that the aura of the 6 figures was extremely terrifying. They were all true God realm experts, and they weren't any weaker than them. The descent of 6 true gods was enough to sweep across the war god continent. Even Zhang Su, Bai Wuliang, and Qi Kongjue had to avoid them. The descent of the divine realm experts is both a good and bad thing for us. Although we can finally return to the divine realm, the wordless heavenly book can't fall into their hands. It can only be in the hands of our 3 races. Zhang Su's eyes flashed with killing intent as he slowly said. What's the use of saying so much? Bai Wuliang, you're the smartest. Quickly think of a way to deal with these 6 troubles. Qi Kongjue looked at Bai Wuliang and urged. Why do we have to deal with them? There's no need to go through so much trouble. We can just go out openly and bring the 6 of them to the heavenly devil ancient land. Bai Wuliang's eyes flashed as he said with a faint smile. Drive the tiger to devour the wolf? Zhang Su's eyes also lit up. What do you mean by driving the tiger to devour the wolf? Bai Wuliang, are you crazy? Aren't you afraid that those 6 fellows will directly attack us? Qi Kongjue touched his head and asked doubtfully. Bai Wuliang looked at him helplessly and explained, the situation in the heavenly devil ancient land is too complicated. It's still unknown who will win. No matter who wins, I'm afraid that we won't be able to take the wordless heavenly book that easily. Why don't we let those 6 fellows take the lead and explore the heavenly devil ancient land? That's right. Dugachobai's sword isn't that easy to receive. Although those 6 true gods have extraordinary strength, they're too arrogant. I'm afraid that they'll suffer a great loss in the hands of Dugachobai. Let them fight among themselves. Zhang Su also sneered. Chapter 1167. Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue were plotting. The reason why they were so afraid of the 6 real gods was that, besides wanting to take the wordless heavenly book for themselves, there were no real gods from the heavenly human tribe, the god-burying tribe, or the sorcerer tribe among the 6 real gods. A million years had passed. They were not clear about the current situation in the divine world. They also did not know the situation of the heavenly human tribe, god-burying tribe, and sorcerer tribe. Hence, they did not dare to act rashly. In the end, Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue chose to appear at the same time. With the three of them working together, even if the six real gods wanted to deal with them, they would be able to escape unscathed. Moreover, they believed that the wordless heavenly book would be more attractive to the six real gods. Greetings to the six of you. With a flash of light in the void, Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue appeared in front of the six real gods. Rumble. The three of them exuded an extremely powerful aura. All of them had the cultivation of the true God realm. People from the heavenly human tribe, God-burying tribe, and sorcerer tribe. There was a glint in the eyes of the six real gods. When they saw Bai Wuliang and the other two, they were surprised. Bai Wuliang and the other two did not conceal their aura and cultivation. Hence, the six real gods could easily see their origins. Are the six of you from the divine world? We know the whereabouts of the wordless heavenly book. It is in the heavenly devil ancient land now. If you are late, it will fall into the hands of demon god King Bo Sun. Bai Wuliang's eyes flashed as he looked at the six real gods in front of him and said slowly. At this moment, he finally saw the appearance of the six real gods clearly. The leader was a young man wearing black armor and holding a halberd in his hand. His aura was powerful and extraordinary. His face was completely covered by the helmet, only revealing a pair of incomparably cold eyes. One of them was an old woman wearing a white robe and holding a walking stick. She had a ruddy complexion and white hair. Her eyes were filled with indifference and sharpness. Her entire body exuded an extremely powerful sword essence. It was a burly man covered in demonic chi. He wore beast skins and had bulging muscles. His aura was incomparably powerful, and he carried a heaven-splitting axe. His physical body was extremely powerful. Among the last three true gods, one was a middle-aged man who was surrounded by ghostly energy as if he was hiding in the void. One was a young man who was wearing golden armor and had golden light flowing all over his body. The last one was a general who was sitting on a tyrannical tiger divine beast. He was surrounded by a murderous aura and carried with him an endless aura of conquering. They are the true gods of the War God Temple, Supreme Tao Palace, Heaven Devouring Sect, Heaven Ghoul Race, Gold Clan, and Sky Tyrant Divine Kingdom. Bai Wuliang recognized the six of them almost instantly, and his body trembled slightly. Among the six major forces, the War God Temple and Taishang Dao Palace were considered the pinnacle great sanctuaries in the entire God world. Their strength was boundless. Although the Sky Devouring Sect, Heaven Ghoul Tribe, Gold Clan, and Sky Tyrant Divine Kingdom were slightly weaker, they were still extremely powerful. The forces behind the six real gods made Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue extremely afraid. When Bai Wuliang and the other two were sizing up the six real gods, the six real gods before them were also sizing them up. The young man in black armor from the War God Temple had a sharp glint in his eyes as he said indifferently, "What do you mean? How much fighting strength does demon god King Bo Sun have left?" He was not surprised by the appearance of the experts from the heavenly human race, god-burying race, and sorcerer race. After all, since he came from the god world, he naturally had an incomparable understanding of the battle a million years ago. With the lifespan of Bai Wuliang and the other two, it was not a problem for them to live until now. However, the name of demon god King Bo Sun made the six real gods' faces change slightly. Obviously, they were very clear about the terrifying meaning of this name. Now, the successor of the Scarlet Dragon War God, Ling Xiao, is leading many experts to fight against demon god King Bo Sun in the heavenly devil ancient land. However, demon god King Bo Sun is too powerful. I'm afraid they won't be able to hold on for much longer. Don't worry, demon god King Bo Sun should only have the fighting strength of a complete true god realm. Moreover, he has already been severely injured. Bai Wuliang understood the concerns of the six real gods and said slowly. If the name of demon god King Bo Sun scared them away, the loss would outweigh the gain. The Scarlet Dragon War God already has an heir. That means Ling Xiao has obtained the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God? A sharp light flashed in the eyes of the young man from the War God Temple and his face turned slightly gloomy. That's right. Not only did he obtain the wordless heavenly book, but he also cultivated the war god technique. His physical body has become a god, and his strength is extremely powerful. Bai Wuliang said faintly and told them everything that had happened during this period of time. When the young man from the war god temple heard that Ling Xiao had obtained the wordless heavenly book and cultivated the war god technique, his face turned gloomy and even revealed a hint of killing intent. Where is the heavenly devil ancient land? Let's go. The young man from the war god temple said faintly, but the coldness and killing intent in his voice had already seeped into his bones. Bai Wuliang and Zhang Su looked at each other secretly. Then, the three of them led the 6 real gods and flew towards the heavenly devil ancient land. In the heavenly devil ancient land, almost all the demon clan experts and demon gods had been slaughtered. This piece of land flowed with rivers of blood and mountains of corpses. It was like an Azura hell. Not only the demon clan experts, but the experts of the various holy lands had also suffered heavy losses. They had died at the hands of the demon clan. The air was filled with a thick smell of blood. Above the void, 4 demons suppressing divine palaces floated in the sky. Endless chaotic mist filled the air and suppressed demon god King Bo Sun. The 7 evils gourd flowed with 7-colored light. It was dazzling and mysterious. It contained an incomparably vast power that enveloped the chaotic mist. With the 7 evils gourds addition, the spiritual sage, demon saint, moon mother, and Buddha Lord were able to breathe a sigh of relief. However, they were almost exhausted and had almost no strength to continue fighting. In particular, the remnant souls of the demon saint and moon mother had completely dissipated. Only the spiritual sage and Buddha Lord were still holding on. The old goat's eyes were filled with sadness. Although he knew that it was only a remnant soul of the demon saint, he still felt as if his father was by his side and had never left. The moon god's feelings were the most complicated. She originally thought that the moon mother would possess her and completely occupy her body. However, she didn't expect that the moon mother would only borrow her body to launch the final battle against demon god King Bo Sun. Moreover, before her death, the moon mother had completely passed on her inheritance to the moon god. The moon god was dazed. She felt as if she was the moon mother herself. Chapter 1168. Inside Demon God King Bo Sun's Sea of Consciousness. Originally, the hundreds of soul fragments contained incomparably powerful energy. Although Bo Sun's soul was shattered, there was still a trace of powerful willpower that resisted Ling Xiao's devouring and refining. However, with the addition of the origin demon bone, Bo Sun's willpower quickly melted like snow. Ling Xiao's Yuan spirit was sparkling and translucent. He sat cross-legged in the endless world of darkness. Opposite him, the origin demon bone seemed to have taken on his appearance, except that it was pitch black and emitted endless dark demonic qi. It was devouring the fragments of Bo Sun's Yuan spirit. After Ling Xiao comprehended the myriad transmuting demon scripture, he separated half of his soul and fused it with the origin demon bone. Under the suppression of the wordless heavenly book and the refinement of Bo Sun's powerful soul, the origin demon bone was completely refined by Ling Xiao. At this moment, Ling Xiao's soul was shining with golden light, while the origin demon bone avatar was suffused with black light. The 2 figures sat cross-legged in the void, both emitting a powerful and mysterious aura, as if they had fallen into a state of enlightenment. Although half of Ling Xiao's soul had been severed, his soul rapidly recovered as he constantly devoured the power from the fragments. Moreover, it began to swell. The power of the origin demon bone avatar was incomparably terrifying. After being refined by Ling Xiao, the terrifying power contained in the origin demon bone avatar seemed to erupt, and its aura became increasingly powerful. Although the origin demon bone avatar looked exactly the same as Ling Xiao, its entire body was covered with demonic light and boundless demonic energy, as if it was a supreme true demon. Anyone who saw this Ling Xiao would feel as if he was a true demon god. The power of the soul fragments was rapidly consumed, and all of Bo Sun's memories, experiences, and martial arts were completely absorbed by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had also obtained the detoxification method of the 7 soul dispersing light from Bo Sun's primordial spirit. He was overjoyed. Once he completely refined all the primordial spirit fragments, he would be able to detoxify Jin Se. The mysterious aura between Ling Zhao's soul and the origin demon bone avatar grew stronger and stronger, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. Ling Zhao's body was also undergoing an incomparably wonderful change. Rumble. The void of the heavenly devil ancient land seemed to be torn apart by some terrifying force. Endless turbulence spread out, and dazzling divine light shone in all directions. 9 incomparably powerful figures descended upon the heavenly devil ancient land. Naturally, they were the 6 true gods, Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue. Who is it? The expressions of the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the others changed as they stared at the 9 figures. They could feel that the auras of the 9 figures were extremely terrifying. They were even more powerful than those demon gods. Each of them was as majestic as the sea. It was as if a divine king had descended from the 9 heavens, causing everyone to tremble. They are people from the god realm. The few experts from the ancient demon tribe who had followed the old goat stared at the 6 real gods. Their eyes were filled with solemnity and surprise. They could feel that the auras of the 6 real gods were as vast as the sea, as well as the powerful divine Tao law. It was not something that they, who had stayed in the god of war's world for millions of years, could compare with. Dugachobai's eyes also flashed as he stared at the 9 experts in front of him. There seemed to be some kind of sharp sword radiance flowing in his eyes. People from the god realm? These few words were like a bolt of lightning that shook the heavens and the earth, causing everyone to be shocked. Oh no! The gate of the god realm has opened at this time. They must be here for the wordless heavenly book on Master. No matter what, we must stop them. We must not let them disturb Master. I can feel that Master has reached the final juncture. Soon, he will be able to completely destroy Bo Sun. Zhu Gonglia's anxious voice was transmitted into the sea of consciousness of the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Dugachobai. Zhu Ganglai could feel that Ling Xiao was currently in a mysterious state of cultivation. It was very likely that he had already eliminated demon god King Bo Sun. He didn't even have the time to be happy and excited. He didn't expect the experts of the god realm to descend at this time. If it were by Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue, it would be fine. With Dugachobai's strength, they might be able to resist for a while. However, the auras of the 6 real gods were too terrifying. It was obvious that they were at their peak. They were no match for them. Zhu Ganglai could only pray that the 6 real gods would not see through Ling Zhao's current state so quickly. Otherwise, Ling Xiao would really be in danger. The 6 real gods looked indifferent. They did not put the old goat and the others in their eyes. In their eyes, the old goat and the others were no different from ants. Their gazes fell on the 4 demons suppressing divine halls, the 7 evils gourd, the spiritual sage, and the Buddha Lord. The spiritual sage and the Buddha Lord? You are still alive? That's not right. You are just 2 remnant souls. The eyes of the young man from the war god temple flashed. He instantly saw through the real situation of the spirit sage and the Buddha Lord. In his opinion, the cultivation of Jin Se and the devil Buddha was not strong. It was just that they had a strong remnant soul power attached to them. They came from the god realm. Naturally, they knew about the battle a million years ago. They also recognized the spiritual sage and the Buddha Lord. That is, the 7 evils gourd. I did not expect that there would be such a treasure in the mortal world. And the woman attached to the spiritual sage has such a miraculous physique. Hong Tianzhao, I can give up the wordless heavenly book. However, the 7 evils gourd and that woman belong to my Taishangdao palace. The eyes of the old woman from the Taishangdao palace were filled with blazing light. She looked at the 7 evils gourd and Jin Se as if they were supreme treasures. 7 evils gourd? The eyes of the other real gods also lit up. They weighed the pros and cons. Although the 7 evils gourd was extremely precious, they did not want to provoke the group of lunatics from the Taishangdao palace. Therefore, they did not say anything. You are from the War God Temple? Quickly retreat. Don't disturb us from suppressing the demon god King Bo Sun. The spiritual sage frowned slightly. She was currently presiding over the demon-suppressing divine hall with the Buddha Lord. She did not have the strength to fight these real gods. Moreover, she was very clear that these people were definitely here for the wordless heavenly book. Spiritual sage? You are just a remnant soul. Are you qualified to order me? Now, I am going to destroy Bo Sun and take back the wordless heavenly book of my war god temple. I advise you not to obstruct me. Otherwise, don't blame me for not taking into account Lord Crimson Dragon's old friendship. The young man from the War God Temple was called Hong Tianzhao. He glanced at the spiritual sage and smiled coldly. Chapter 1169. Rumble. The aura around his body was extremely terrifying, and a powerful fighting spirit flowed around him. His divine power rose up, and he strode towards the spiritual elder. His gait was majestic, and his eyes were cold, causing the space around him to violently tremble. Stop! Duga Chobai's eyes flashed as he stood in front of Hong Tianzhao with the ancient sword in his hand. He was wearing a black robe that fluttered in the wind. He was tall and slender. Although his face was ordinary, his eyes were extremely bright as if there were two rays of sword light condensing in them. The aura around him was mysterious as he blended in with the surrounding heaven and earth. He exuded a sword intent that surprised Hong Tianzhao. There is such a powerful sword cultivator in the mortal world? The door to the divine realm is closed. You are indeed talented to be able to ascend to the divine realm with your own strength. Kneel down and pledge your loyalty to me. I can bring you to the divine realm and let you join the War God Temple. Hong Tianzhao said flatly with a hint of admiration in his eyes. Let me borrow your sword to defeat you first. Duga Chobai said calmly as the battle intent in his eyes became more intense. When he fought against demon god King Bo Sun, he used the sword of Saint Path recklessly and suffered a great backlash. However, he still stood up for Ling Xiao. Especially Hong Tianzhao, who was in front of him, was a true god of the divine world at his peak. He wanted to see how strong the experts of the divine world were. Arrogant. You are just a divine spirit realm expert. How dare you say that you can defeat me with a single strike? Fine, I will show you the martial arts of the divine realm. It is not something that you can imagine. Hong Tianzhao sneered as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Rumble. The aura around him was extremely vast as rays of divine light gathered on his palm. He clenched his fist as the light around him blazed. He then threw a punch at Duga Chobai. Invincible divine fist. Hong Tianzhao's punch was extremely ferocious. He was like an invincible god of war. The surrounding void collapsed. The endless power of the void gathered on this punch, giving it the power to annihilate everything. This was a divine realm martial art that contained vast divine Dao law. When Hong Tianzhao threw out the punch, it had the aura of light that illuminated the world. Good timing. Duga Chobai's eyes glinted as he slowly raised the ancient sword in his hand. Rumble. The boundless sword light was extremely terrifying, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. It contained an extremely terrifying destructive power. This was the power of the destruction sword Dao. Although Duga Chobai did not use his full strength, the power of this sword strike was still extremely terrifying. What? Hong Tianzhao's body trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Duga Chobai's sword strike made him feel an uncontrollable fear, as if he was going to die in the next moment. He was only at the true God realm, so he couldn't understand the vastness and terror of the Saint Dao. However, he had a feeling that he was facing an invincible God King. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled violently. Hong Tianzhao's terrifying invincible divine fist was shattered. A terrifying sword radiance flashed, and in the next moment, it slashed his chest. Crack! Innumerable runes exploded on Hong Tianzhao's body. That was the power of his powerful defensive armor. However, it was severely damaged by this sword strike, causing its light to dim. Hong Tianzhao felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He was sent flying thousands of feet away in an instant. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned ghastly pale. He felt that if it wasn't for his powerful defensive armor, he would have been cut in half by Dugachobai's sword strike. How could a mere expert of the divine spirit realm possess such terrifying power? What? The other 5 true gods were also in disbelief. They didn't expect Hong Tianzhao to be defeated by Dugachobai with a single strike. Hong Tianzhao was a core disciple of the war god Hall. His strength was extremely terrifying, and he had a god-king realm ancestor behind him. Even the other 5 true gods couldn't say for sure that they could defeat Hong Tianzhao. Only Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue weren't too surprised. However, when they sensed the terrifying aura of Dugachobai's sword strike at such a close distance, they were still extremely shocked. That sword strike was able to kill demon god King Bo Sun's myriad transformations demon body. It was truly terrifying to the extreme. That powerful sword intent made the 3 of them feel extremely solemn. Fortunately, the 6 true gods were the first to act. Otherwise, if the 3 of them were to act rashly, not only would they fail to get the wordless heavenly book, but they might also die in Dugachobai's hands. Very well. I really misjudged you. I didn't expect a peerless genius like you to appear in the mortal realm. However, a genius who hasn't grown up is nothing if he dies. Just like that sword strike just now, how many strikes can you make? Kid, since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, then die. Hong Tianzhao's eyes revealed a trace of cold murderous intent. Why are you wasting your breath on them? A bunch of ants, how dare they stop us? They are simply courting death. Kill them. As soon as Hong Tianzhao finished speaking, the old lady from the Supreme Doctrine Palace, the Gold Clan, the Sky-Devouring Sect, and the other true gods sneered coldly. Their eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. How could they not see that Dugachobai was trying to stall for time? Therefore, they all acted immediately. Rumble. The 6 true gods' auras were extremely terrifying. Each of them was majestic as they charged towards the 4 demons suppressing divine halls. Stop them. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the others' eyes changed. They roared angrily as they charged towards the 6 true gods in the void. Although Dugachobai had defeated Hong Tianzhao with a single strike, each time he used the sword of the holy path, he would suffer a great backlash. However, facing the 6 true gods, although his face was pale and his aura was chaotic, his eyes were still sharp as he charged towards the void with his sword in hand. Zhu Ganglai and the others made their moves. A fierce battle between the true gods broke out in an instant. However, the power of the 6 true gods was too terrifying. After exchanging blows, they realized that they were no match for the 6 true gods. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the true gods that they brought along could not even withstand one strike from the 6 true gods. They retreated in defeat. Only Dugachobai and Zhu Ganglai managed to hold back the 4 true gods and were fighting fiercely with them. Although Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue's eyes flickered, they were wise enough not to make a move. Chapter 1170. Hong Tianzhao and the old woman from the Supreme Dao Palace also noticed that Bai Wuliang and the other 2 did not make a move. Although they were incomparably furious, they did not flare up at this moment. Instead, they chose to attack the 4 devil-suppressing divine halls. After all, the wordless heavenly book was the most important. Boom! Hong Tianzhao punched out, and the fierce fist print instantly enveloped the 4 devil-suppressing divine halls. It contained an extremely terrifying destructive power. The spiritual sage and the Buddha Lord looked at each other, and there was a bitter smile in their eyes. Buddha Lord, you don't have to defend anymore. Help me protect this girl and suppress the 7 souls dispersing soul light in her sea of consciousness. Let me do something for that brat before I die. Take care of yourself. The spiritual sage looked at the Buddha Lord, and there was a trace of determination in his eyes. "Spiritual sage, don't worry. I will protect this girl. As the saying goes, if I don't go to hell, who will? You go first, and I'll come later." The Buddha Lord's face showed a carefree smile, and he nodded calmly. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled violently. There was a powerful divine light storm above Jin Sei's head, and it turned into a blazing sword radiance. The sword radiance was vast and terrifying, and it contained an extremely powerful power. Then, it suddenly exploded, and it split into hundreds of millions of bright sword radiances. It was like a cage, and it enveloped Hong Tianzhao. At the same time, the Buddha Lord came to Jin Sei's side in an instant, and he slapped his palm on Jin Sei's head. At the same time, a mysterious chanting sound came from his mouth, and a sparkling relic flew into Jin Sei's sea of consciousness. Boom! The relic was formed by the Buddha Lord's lifetime of Buddhist power, and it contained the power to purify everything. It was extremely mysterious. Although there was no way to completely cure the poison of the seven souls dispersing soul light, it could suppress the power of the seven souls dispersing soul light. The Buddha Lord's body was shining with dazzling light. A ray of devil light and a ray of Buddhist light intertwined, and it turned into an extremely mysterious power, and suddenly suppressed the four real gods. The Buddha Lord seemed to have transformed into Tao. His entire body exploded, and he turned into a bright rain of light. The Buddhist light spread, and the mysterious chanting sound intertwined. The aura around him was incomparably pure, as if it was going to completely purify the world. Originally, the pressure on Dugu Qiubai and Zhu Ganglai was extremely great. But the Buddha Lord's resplendent attack before his death, and immediately enveloped the four real gods, and gave them a chance to breathe. Rumble. Without the support of the spiritual sage and the Buddha Lord, the four halls, as if they were attracted by some mysterious power, they slowly disappeared into the void, and returned to their original positions. Only the seven evils gourd was left in the void, emitting 7 beams of brilliant light. Cheese Buddha God, and cheeses. He had a solemn look, Chi, and cheese, he, looked to him. Twos, God. Buddha Wuha. Li to God. Him. At this moment, demon god King Bo Sun no longer had any signs of life. Moreover, a majestic devouring force was emitted from his body, as if it was devouring demon god King Bo Sun's power. God King God is dead? Ha ha ha. Even the heavens are helping me. Hong Tianzhao laughed loudly. Then, his eyes flashed with murderous intent. He punched Ling Xiao. Since God King God was dead, the wordless heavenly book would naturally fall into his hands as long as he killed Ling Xiao. Hong Tianzhao didn't think of capturing Ling Xiao alive. He knew how terrifying the wordless heavenly book was. Ling Xiao had the wordless heavenly book in his hands, and his physical body had become a god. His strength was unparalleled. If Ling Xiao really woke up, it was hard to tell who would win. As the saying goes, take the enemy's life when they're down. Hong Tianzhao's heart was extremely ruthless. He wanted to kill Ling Xiao. The old woman from the Taishangdao palace took the opportunity to rush towards the Buddha Lord's gourd. Old woman, don't even think of hurting my master. A clear voice came from the Buddha Lord's gourd. Instantly, a rainbow-colored light shone, as if it had turned into an extremely powerful barrier. It blocked the old woman from the Taishangdao palace. Hearing the words old woman, the old woman from the Taishangdao palace turned green. Her face turned ugly, and her murderous intent blazed. You're courting death. The murderous intent around him was blazing. A black sword radiance was spat out from his fingertip. It contained an extremely terrifying power as it pierced towards the Buddha Lord's gourd. The sword radiance was extremely powerful, as if it was the sword of heaven. It contained a ruthless intent as if it wanted to destroy everything. The old woman's strength is too strong. Brothers, get out of the way. A strange voice came from the Buddha Lord's gourd. Instantly, the Buddha Lord's gourd shone brightly. It suddenly shattered into 7 resplendent divine rainbows, dodging the power of the sword radiance. Then, it instantly condensed back into the Buddha Lord's gourd. Demon God King Bo Sun is dead. Kill! Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue felt that Demon God King Bo Sun no longer had any signs of life. Instantly, murderous intent flashed across their eyes as they attacked at the same time. Rumble. The aura of the three of them was extremely terrifying. They weren't any weaker than the 6 true gods. They also charged towards Ling Xiao. Bai Wuliang and the other two had been waiting patiently for a long time. Finally, they found the best opportunity. Moreover, they felt that Ling Xiao seemed to have reached the critical moment of a breakthrough. If they didn't attack now, it would be too late. Under the joint attack of Hong Tianzhao, the old woman from the Supreme Doctrine Palace, Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue, even the Buddha Lord's gourd couldn't withstand the attacks of the 5 true gods. The enchantment that it had formed was also on the verge of collapsing. It was as if it could shatter at any time. Rumble. Finally, the Buddha Lord's gourd couldn't withstand the terrifying attacks of the 5 true gods. The 7-colored enchantment that it had formed exploded. No! The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, Jin Sei, Shuewei, Moon Goddess, and the others were extremely worried as they shouted. However, they were too weak. Even Shuewei couldn't withstand the power of the 5 true gods. The eyes of the 5 true gods were filled with cruelty. Ling Xiao, who was sitting cross-legged in front of them, was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. They could crush him to death at any time. Kill! Murderous intent flashed across Hong Tianzhao's eyes. A terrifying fist print was about to land on Ling Xiao. At this moment, Jin Sei's eyes revealed a trace of determination. Like a dancing flame, her speed was extremely fast. Instantly, she appeared in front of Ling Xiao. Rumble. A terrifying aura exploded from Jin Sei's body. It was a peerless sword essence. It was as if it was going to break the 9 heavens. It was eternal and immortal. It contained a vast and unparalleled power. Jin Sei's eyes flashed and a snow-white sword light slashed towards Hong Tianzhao. Chapter 1171. This is Regal Sword Essence. How is this possible? The eyes of the old woman from the Taishangdao Palace were filled with shock, which then turned into ecstasy. In the Taishangji Palace, only those who had comprehended the Taishang sword were true disciples of the Taishangji Palace. This was because the path to the Taishang sword was the Taishang way of the sword, which represented the foundation of the divine path. The supreme path of the divine path was the foundation of every martial arts holy land. However, in the Taishangdao Palace, there might not even be 1 out of 10,000 disciples who could comprehend the Taishang sword intent. However, in this mere mortal world, a person who had never cultivated the Taishangdao martial arts could actually comprehend the Taishang sword intent. This was simply a rare genius of the Taishangdao. The old woman from the Taishang Palace immediately decided that she must bring this girl back to the Taishang Palace and nurture her. Hong Tianzhao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. Although the sword essence contained in this strike was vast and unparalleled, it was a pity that the difference in cultivation between him and Jin Sei was too great. Jin Sei was no match for him at all. Therefore, when his fist landed, it directly shattered the blazing sword radiance. Bang! As if struck by lightning, Jin Sei's face instantly turned pale and a trace of bright red blood appeared at the corner of her mouth. Her body flew out, severely injured by Hong Tianzhao's punch. Sister Jin Sei. Shuewei's eyes revealed a trace of anxiety. She immediately rushed to the sky and caught Jin Sei's body. Boom! At this moment, there seemed to be a dense black light between Jin Sei's eyebrows, exuding an evil, dark, and ancient aura. Moreover, there was a mysterious 7-colored light flickering from within. This time, Jin Sei forcefully used her own strength. Although she managed to block Hong Tianzhao's attack, she could no longer suppress the 7 souls dispersing soul light in her sea of consciousness. Even the Sarira of the Buddha Lord was useless. Jean Sei could feel her life force slipping away at an alarming rate. Even her vision was turning blurry. "You're Shui Wei, right? Big Brother Ling Xiao told me about you, and I can tell that Big Brother Ling Xiao likes you. Unfortunately, I can't stay by his side anymore. Shui Wei, promise me that you'll take good care of Brother Ling Xiao for me." Jean Sei grabbed Shui Wei's hands tightly, her entire body trembling, her eyes filled with anticipation. Shui Wei's eyes were red and her entire body was trembling. A line of hot tears welled up in her eyes, as if they were about to flow out at any moment. Hearing Jean Sei's words, Shui Wei's voice carried a hint of sobbing. "Sister Jean Sei, don't die. Young master has waited for you for 10,000 years. You are his life. If you die, young master will be very sad. Sister Jean Sei, I have a lot of spirit pills here, many healing spirit pills. I'll help you heal." Shui Wei took out a spirit pill and fed it to Jean Sei. Jean Sei stopped her and smiled weakly. "Silly girl, it's no use. The poison of the 7 souls dispersing soul light was something that even divine medicines could not cure. Promise me you'll take good care of Big Brother Ling Xiao for me." Seeing Jean Sei's expectant gaze, Shui Wei's entire body trembled. Sparkling tears fell from her eyes as she nodded silently. "Thank you." Jean Sei smiled weakly and directly fainted. The poison of the 7 souls dispersing soul light? Hearing these words, the expression of the old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace changed greatly. The 7 souls dispersing soul light was an extremely tyrannical divine ability of the demon race. It was extremely famous in the god realm. It was said that if a saint was poisoned by the 7 souls dispersing soul light, they would be tortured half to death. She did not expect Jean Sei to be poisoned by such a strong poison. It must have been left behind by the demon god King Bo Sun. "If you don't want her to die, quickly hand her over to me. I have the supreme emotion for getting water, it can cure the poison in her body." The old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace hurriedly said. It was not easy to find an exceptional genius suitable for the Supreme Tao martial arts. If she died like this, it would be too much of a pity. Shui Wei hugged Jean Sei tightly as she looked at the 6 true gods with eyes full of hatred. Naturally, she did not believe the old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace. At that moment, Zhu Gonglia's eyes lit up and he quickly said to Shui Wei, "The supreme emotion for getting water is the Supreme Tao Palace's treasure. It can really cure the poison in your body." "That's right. This is the supreme emotion for getting water. Quickly, let her consume it. Otherwise, it will be too late." The old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace took out a transparent glass bottle. Within it was half a bottle of crystal clear liquid. It gave off a mysterious light and flowed with an ancient and mysterious Tao rhyme. At that moment, the black light had already enveloped Jean Sei's glabella and was spreading towards her entire body. The Buddha Lord Sarira in her consciousness had completely shattered. The dense Buddha light became extremely weak and the 7 souls dispersing soul light started to merge into Jean Sei's primordial spirit. Shui Wei clenched her teeth. She could feel that Jean Sei's current situation was extremely critical. She could only temporarily believe the old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace. The old woman from the Taishang Holy Ji Palace opened the transparent glass bottle and pointed with her finger. Dazzling light filled the air. The Taishang passionless water turned into a beam of light and rushed into Jean Sei's mind. The supreme emotion for getting water exuded an incomparably ancient and mysterious fluctuation. The 7 souls dispersing soul light melted like snow. The supreme emotion for getting water also merged into Jean Sei's primordial spirit and began to nourish her primordial spirit, expelling the 7 souls dispersing soul light's power. However, the old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace frowned when she sensed the situation in Jean Sei's consciousness. Not good. The 7 souls dispersing soul light has already invaded her primordial spirit. Although the supreme emotion for getting water has eliminated most of the 7 souls dispersing soul light's poison, there is no way to completely cure it. It seems that we can only send her back to the sect and ask the sect master and elders to help. The old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace said slowly. Her eyes flashed sharply and she directly put Jin Se into her small world. Stop! Hand over Sister Jin Se. Shui Wei panicked. She pointed the 6 paths of reincarnation sword at the old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace with a cold look in her eyes. Little girl, you must be from the Samsara Temple, right? Don't be so impudent. If I hand Jin Se over to you, you won't be able to cure her. The 7 souls dispersing soul light's poison has already entered her primordial spirit. Only the elders of the Supreme Tao Palace can remove it. So, I'm doing this for her own good. The old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace's eyes flashed. She felt the aura from Shui Wei's body and was slightly surprised. However, she still spoke calmly. Previously, she looked incomparably arrogant and treated everyone as ants. However, when she felt the aura from Shui Wei's body, she began to speak to her in an equal tone. It was clear that the Samsara Temple was extremely powerful in the God world. Chapter 1172. Boom! Suddenly, a loud noise came from afar. The 7 demons' gourd's barrier was broken by Hong Tianzhao again. After Jin Se was injured by Hong Tianzhao, the 7 demons' gourd once again formed a 7 demons' barrier to protect Ling Xiao. However, Hong Tianzhao and the others were too powerful and broke it again. At this moment, Ling Xiao was completely exposed in front of Hong Tianzhao and the others. Hong Tianzhao's eyes showed a trace of cruelty. He punched Ling Xiao's head. The fist print was so terrifying that it seemed like it was going to smash Ling Xiao's head into pieces. No! Shui Wei shouted. Her eyes were filled with anxiety. She immediately rushed toward Hong Tianzhao with the 6 paths of reincarnation sword in her hand. However, it was still too late. Hong Tianzhao's punch was extremely ferocious and unpredictable. It landed on Ling Xiao's head in an instant and blasted Ling Xiao into pieces. Ling Xiao disappeared into the void. Hong Tianzhao's eyes flashed. He suddenly felt that something was wrong. The Ling Xiao in front of him was only an afterimage. The real Ling Xiao was nowhere to be found. You all deserve to die. An extremely cold voice came from the void. It contained a monstrous killing intent. Rumble. The heaven and earth shook and the void shattered. Bolts of lightning fell from the 9 heavens. The lightning was extremely bright and golden. Ling Xiao was surrounded by a chaotic aura. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His body was extraordinarily handsome and exuded a terrifying power. At this moment, his eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. They shot out as if they were tangible, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. Ling Xiao had just woken up from his cultivation state. When he heard the crowd's discussion, he immediately understood what had happened. When Hong Tianzhao's punch came, it was directly dodged by him using the teleportation's secret skill. When Ling Xiao heard that Jin Se had been poisoned by the 7 souls dispersing light and was on the verge of death, he immediately went berserk. Shui Wei was right. Jin Se was Ling Xiao's life. She was his reverse scale. Anyone who touched her would die. Therefore, when Ling Xiao heard that something had happened to Jin Se, his heart was immediately shrouded in a monstrous killing intent. It was as if a vast divine power had been set off in the surrounding void. It's Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao is awake. Ha ha ha. Patriarch devouring heaven, these are all experts from the realm of the gods. They are the ones who harmed Patriarch Chongsheng. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, Long Outyan, and the rest of the people from the Chongsan sect were overjoyed. They were all excited. Young master. Sister Jin Se is in this old woman's small world. Hurry up and save her. Shui Wei's eyes were also filled with joy. She hurriedly pointed at the old woman from the Supreme Tao Palace. You're Ling Xiao. Kneel down and hand over the textless heavenly book and the scarlet dragon war god's inheritance. Hong Tianzhao furrowed his brows, but his face remained cold as he stared at Ling Xiao and said flatly. Although he wasn't able to kill Ling Xiao and wake him up, in his opinion, Ling Xiao's cultivation was merely at the divine spirit realm, which was a realm lower than his own. Killing Ling Xiao would be an easy task. Ling Xiao did not even look at Hong Tianzhao. With a flash of light, he appeared in front of the old woman from the Taishang Palace. Hand over Jin Sei or die. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. His voice was emotionless. Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to me like that? Kid, Jin Sei has become a disciple of Taishang Dao Palace. You can't even protect yourself. I advise you to think about your own situation. The old woman from the Taishang Holy Ji Palace sneered at Ling Xiao. Master, this old woman gave Mistress the Taishang emotion water. She saved Mistress' life. Zhu Ganglai reminded Ling Xiao through telepathy. She took the Taishang emotion water. Hearing Zhu Ganglia's words, Ling Xiao's heart couldn't help but ache. Zhu Ganglai had told him that although the Taishang emotion water could cure Jin Sei's 7 souls dispersing soul light, it could also cleanse Jin Sei's primordial spirit. Jin Sei would forget Ling Xiao completely. She would never remember anything from the past. If that was the case, would Jin Sei still be Jin Sei? However, Ling Xiao also knew that Jin Sei's primordial spirit had already been invaded by the 7-soul dispersing light. If she hadn't consumed the supreme emotion forgetting water, Jin Sei would have already died. Ling Xiao could only blame himself for waking up too late. Incomparable self-blame and regret spread in Ling Xiao's heart. Since you saved Jin Sei, I won't kill you. Hand over Jin Sei. I'll let you go. Ling Xiao suppressed his killing intent and stared at the old woman from Taishang Dao Palace. Ling Xiao, I'm talking to you. How dare you ignore me? You're courting death. Hong Tianzhao, who was ignored by Ling Xiao, could not take it anymore. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Boom! Divine power surged around his body, and with a flash of light in his hand, a black heavenly halberd slashed down toward Ling Xiao with a monstrous force. Endless black light filled the air. The heavenly halberd contained an ancient and desolate concept. It was as if it was going to break open a barren world. Scram! Ling Xiao felt the killing intent coming from behind him. Instantly, killing intent rose in his eyes. Golden blood qi exuded from his body, and the tyrannical aura in his body exploded. Boom! Ling Xiao threw out a punch. Like a peerless god of war, the punch contained invincible power. It went straight for Hong Tianzhao's heavenly halberd. Although Hong Tianzhao was a true god realm expert, he was not even comparable to demon god King Bo Sun's great transformations demon body. How could Ling Xiao take him seriously? Moreover, Ling Xiao had reached the triple god realm. He had refined demon god King Bo Sun's flesh and primordial spirit power. His strength had increased tremendously. This fist pressed down on the heavens like an immemorial divine mountain. It actually slammed directly onto the halberd. Boom! Boundless divine light burst forth, and streaks of blazing lightning lit up the void. Hong Tianzhao felt an unparalleled divine force rushing towards him, and he was actually struck by lightning. He was abruptly sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. This is the God of War King Fist. Hong Tianzhao's face turned ghastly pale, and there was an unconcealable shock in his eyes. The God of War King Fist was the basic martial art of the War God Hall. It was only a lower divine level martial art. However, there were very few people who could cultivate the God of War King Fist to the complete realm. Chapter 1173. How could Hong Tianzhao not be shocked when he sensed the aura of the God of War King's fist from Ling Xiao's body? As a genius of the War God Hall, he had only cultivated the God of War King's fist to the greater realm. He had not even reached the small perfection realm, let alone the legendary great perfection realm. Moreover, the 3 Dao flowers above Ling Xiao's head made Hong Tianzhao jealous. It represented the triple God realm. It was a mysterious phenomenon formed by the law of heaven when one's essence, qi, and spirit became a god. Even in the vast realm of the gods, those who could achieve the triple god realm were 1 in a billion geniuses. They were the holy sons and young kings of the various holy lands. Hong Tianzhao was not even in the double god realm. He had only become a god through the law of heaven. Therefore, he was jealous of Ling Xiao and wanted to kill him. However, it was a pity that Ling Xiao's strength was too strong and exceeded his expectations. My friends, let's kill Ling Xiao together. I can share the secrets of the wordless heavenly book with you. Hong Tianzhao said as he pointed at Ling Xiao. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The other true gods, including Zhang Su, Bai Wuliang, and Qi Kongjue, all had their eyes lit up. They stared at Ling Xiao with cold killing intent. They all wanted the wordless heavenly book. No matter what, they had to kill Ling Xiao first. Even the old woman from the Taishang Palace chose to attack. You must die. Only with your death can the mark in Jin Sei's heart be completely erased. Only then can she cultivate the Taishang sword principle faster. The old woman from the Taishang Palace thought to herself. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. She could see that Jin Sei was deeply in love with Ling Xiao. Although the Taishang emotion water was cleansing Jin Sei's primordial spirit, it was hard to guarantee that Ling Xiao had left a deep mark in her primordial spirit. Therefore, she had to kill Ling Xiao to get rid of all future troubles. The 9 true gods had joined forces at this moment. Everyone's bodies trembled, and a trace of shock and worry appeared in their eyes. Ling Xiao's strength was incomparably powerful, actually causing 9 real gods to join hands. But under the cooperation of 9 real gods, could Ling Xiao really win this battle? Even the people from the Changsun sect let out a look of worry in their eyes. Kill! Hong Tianzhao roared and charged at Ling Xiao. Rumble! The halberd shone with resplendent light as it pierced through the sky, majestically spanning hundreds of thousands of feet. This was the war god shrine's peerless martial art, the great desolate halberd art. It contained an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation. As for the other true gods, their attacks were also extremely terrifying, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. Chaotic fog filled the air, and vast divine power rose up like an ocean, as though it was going to drown Ling Xiao completely. From Ling Xiao's point of view, these 9 true gods were indeed very strong. If they worked together, they would be able to defeat Bo Sun's demon god king's myriad transformations demon body. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao was no longer the Ling Xiao of the past. After reaching the 3 gods' realm, he devoured Bo Sun's soul and flesh. More importantly, after reaching the 3 gods' realm, he almost completely refined the wordless heavenly book and obtained some things left behind by the Scarlet Dragon War God. The current Ling Xiao was more than 100 times stronger than before. Hence, regardless of whether it was Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, Qi Kongjue, or Hong Tianzhao and the other true gods of the 6 divine realms, they were just a joke in Ling Xiao's eyes. Boom! Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely sharp and emitted a very strange fluctuation. One of his eyes shone with golden light while the other one was shrouded in black light. Demon Qi rose from his eyes. At this moment, he looked somewhat similar to the demon Buddha, as he emitted 2 types of energy fluctuation, divine power and demon Qi. Ling Xiao had already refined the origin demon bone into his doppelganger. Hence, he was able to mobilize the power of the origin demon bone. At this moment, Ling Xiao's true combat strength could be said to be far beyond an ordinary true god realm expert. A golden fist print swept across the sky, and it was extremely fierce. It directly hit Hong Tianzhao's halberd. Then, Ling Xiao's body was like a golden lightning, and he instantly appeared beside Hong Tianzhao, causing Hong Tianzhao's expression to change greatly. Hong Tianzhao naturally knew that Ling Xiao's physical body was extremely strong. At this moment, Ling Xiao was close to him. If he were to fight with Ling Xiao in close combat, it would not be a wise choice. Hence, without thinking, he quickly retreated backward. Swoosh! Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast. He directly grabbed one of Hong Tianzhao's arms and threw it abruptly. Then, he suddenly kicked out and kicked Hong Tianzhao's stomach. Bang! The black armor on Hong Tianzhao's body exploded. Although the black armor was a powerful defensive divine weapon, the power of Ling Xiao's kick was too terrifying. It still caused Hong Tianzhao's body to curl up like a lobster. Then, he instantly flew out. You want my wordless heavenly book? Do you think trash like you deserve it? Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with murderous intent. His entire body emitted a powerful dragon aura, and there seemed to be a colorful divine dragon that appeared behind him. It was lifelike and contained an extremely powerful energy fluctuation. It swept towards the few real gods behind him. Bang! Behind Ling Xiao, Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue were all shocked. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as they were swept away by the divine dragon. Their bodies shook violently, and their internal organs were tumbling. It was as if their physical bodies were about to explode. It was extremely uncomfortable. How is this possible? Zhang Su opened his eyes wide in shock. Not long ago, when they were in God Burial Cave, Zhang Su could still feel that even if Ling Xiao used his full strength, he would only be on par with him. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao's fighting power to become so terrifying after such a short period of time. Don't panic. Let's kill him together. Murderous intent flashed in the eyes of the young man from the Gold Clan. The golden blood chi around him soared into the sky. The golden armor on his body emitted an ancient light, and his hair was also golden. His entire body seemed to be cast in gold as he pounced towards Ling Xiao. Roar! At that moment, an ancient and mysterious dragon roar suddenly erupted from Ling Xiao's mouth. The sky shook violently. The dragon roar was as if an ancient divine dragon had descended. It emitted an unparalleled ferocious aura. The aura was extremely terrifying, ancient, mysterious, and vast. It was the 8 notes of the heavenly dragon. It was the supreme sound attack superpower of the dragon clan. It was also an attack skill in the secret skill of the ancestor dragon. After Ling Xiao condensed the body of the divine dragon, he finally began to release the supreme divine aura of the divine dragon. Chapter 1174. Kill! Ling Xiao suddenly roared. The killing intent in his eyes was extremely intense. A vast and mysterious bloodline power began to burn around his body. That was the power of the divine dragon bloodline. As the divine dragon bloodline burned, Ling Xiao's aura began to surge crazily. This was the power of the violent dragon divine ability. In the past, Ling Xiao's bloodline power was too weak to support the violent dragon divine ability, so he rarely used it. Now, his divine dragon body was able to support the violent dragon divine ability. The current limit of the violent dragon divine ability was to explode with 64 times the strength. However, if Ling Xiao used 64 times the strength, he would probably explode before he could kill his enemy. Therefore, he used the violent dragon divine ability to increase his strength by 10 times, making his physical body extremely terrifying. Rumble! Ling Xiao punched out, shattering the void in an instant. This punch was aimed at Qi Kongjue, causing Qi Kongjue to reveal an extremely horrified expression. Kill! However, Qi Kongjue's ferocity seemed to have been stimulated by Ling Xiao. The sorcerer tribe was originally a tribe that emphasized the refinement of the physical body. The strength of their physical body was not weaker than the demon tribe or the devil tribe. Therefore, he also activated the power of his bloodline. His entire body seemed to have expanded as he punched towards Ling Xiao. Not good. Qi Kongjue, retreat quickly. Bai Wuliang's expression changed greatly as he hurriedly shouted at Qi Kongjue. Ling Xiao's punch was too terrifying, causing him to feel a fatal threat. Qi Kongjue, that rash young man, actually rushed forward. This was simply courting death. Rumble. However, his words were still too late. When Ling Xiao punched out, Qi Kongjue's punch was like a piece of paper, instantly shattering. Qi Kongjue's punch was the starting point. His entire body seemed to have been crushed by some kind of terrifying power, instantly exploding into a mist of blood in the void. Until the moment of his death, Qi Kongjue's eyes were still filled with disbelief and unwillingness. Rumble. The devouring divine sea behind Ling Xiao surged, instantly devouring Qi Kongjue's essence and primordial spirit. When one reached the true immortal realm, one's flesh could be said to be a divine medicine that could revive the dead. It was a great supplement for Ling Xiao at this moment. Moreover, Ling Xiao had refined the origin demon bone. He needed a lot of flesh and blood to create a clone for the origin demon bone. Thus, the pitiful Qi Kongjue was killed by a single punch from Ling Xiao. Ha ha ha. Good kill. Master is mighty. The old goat, Zhu Ganglai, and the others were pleasantly surprised and laughed out loud. Ling Xiao's strength was peerlessly horrifying. 9 great true gods were actually so weak in front of Ling Xiao. Damn it! If not for the suppression of this world's laws, Ling Xiao would have died without a doubt. Hong Tianzhao roared. His eyes were filled with unwillingness and shock. These 6 true gods were sent down by the supreme existence of the divine world using a great divine ability. Their strength was also very strong, almost all of them were true god realm experts, but under the suppression of the war god world's laws, they were only left with the strength of early and middle true god realm. Ling Xiao's strength was too powerful, actually making them all have thoughts of retreating. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he charged towards Bai Wuliang and Zhang Su. A blazing sword light shot out from Ling Xiao's fingertip. It contained an invincible power and was extremely sharp. Bai Wuliang and Zhang Su's faces changed drastically. Their hearts were filled with fear of Ling Xiao, and they immediately retreated. However, the sword light was too scorching and indestructible. It actually contained a mysterious will of the Tao, which surprised Duge Qiubai slightly. This sword light actually contained a trace of the divine path. This was because Ling Xiao had merged the sword will of the great emperor in the divine tribulation. Bai Wuliang and Zhang Su realized sadly that there was no way for them to dodge. Puff! A bloody light flashed, and Bai Wuliang's glabella was directly pierced through. The terrifying sword qi directly destroyed his primordial spirit. A heavenly king of the heavenly human tribe died in Ling Xiao's hands just like that. Zhang Su's soul almost left his body. He did not dare to stay here any longer. He wanted to tear open the void and escape without thinking. Rumble. However, Ling Xiao simply threw out a punch, and a terrifying fist print covered the entire area. Even though Zhang Su roared furiously, he was still blasted into a bloody mist by Ling Xiao's punch in the end. Bai Wuliang and Zhang Su's primordial spirits were also devoured by Ling Xiao's sky-devouring divine sea. In between Ling Xiao's glabella, the demonic origin bone had become exactly the same as Ling Xiao. As the boundless qi of blood and flesh surged in, the dark Ling Xiao's aura became stronger and stronger. He was like a supreme true demon, exuding the aura of the demonic origin. Hong Tianzhao and the other real gods' faces grew grave. There was even a tinge of fear that they could not suppress. Bai Wuliang, Zhang Su, and Qi Kongjue, the 3 true gods, died in Ling Xiao's hands just like that. It could be said that they did not have the slightest ability to resist. Ling Xiao's physical strength was terrifying to the extreme. His physical body had become a true god. In addition to the violent dragon's superpower, Ling Xiao had the power to kill a true god. Ling Xiao, Hong Tianzhao's eyes were gloomy. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something. However, what made him furious was that Ling Xiao did not bother with him at all. Instead, he flew across the sky and charged towards the 6 true gods. Rumble. Ling Xiao's body was filled with divine light and the golden clouds were blazing. The golden qi of blood and flesh formed the shape of dragons around him, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. His clothes were whiter than snow, his black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were filled with blazing killing intent. Since the 6 true gods had come for the wordless heavenly book, they were already mortal enemies in his heart. Moreover, Jin Se was severely injured and dying because of them. This caused Ling Xiao's killing intent to boil even more. In this world, only Jin Sei's safety could make Ling Xiao lose his rationality and kill everyone without a care in the world. Rumble. The power of God of War surged around Ling Xiao's body. He threw a punch and the arm of the young man from the Gold Clan instantly exploded into a mist of blood. The golden armor on his body also shook violently and he was instantly sent flying by Ling Xiao. The burly man from the demon clan from the sky-devouring sect braced himself to receive Ling Xiao's attack. Ling Xiao punched a large hole in his chest and he was severely injured in an instant. Murderous intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He sensed an extremely obscure murderous intent coming at him. There was a faintly discernible shadow in the void that seemed to be able to blend into the void. Ling Xiao immediately sensed that it was the true god of the Heaven Ghoul clan. Swoosh! Ling Xiao reached out his hand and tore open the void. The expert from the Heaven Ghoul tribe was directly pulled out of the void by Ling Xiao. Then, Ling Xiao pulled with both hands. Boundless bloody light filled the air, illuminating the terrified eyes of the true god from the Heaven Ghoul tribe. Along with a blood-curdling scream, he was forcefully torn into two by Ling Xiao. Even his primordial spirit was shattered by Ling Xiao's palm. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.